storybook endings, folks. This is one for the books.
And welcome to Martinsville Speedway, where today more than 85,000 will witness the 8th stop of the Winston Cup season. Little Martinsville, Virginia, located just above the Virginia-North Carolina border, not too far from Appomattox, where General Lee and the South surrendered, ending the Civil War. Today we'll have another war, but this time no surrender. As NASCAR's biggest stars battle it out on Winston Cup's shortest track, it's like having a heavyweight championship fight in a phone booth. Old school racing on NASCAR's oldest track. And while Virginia is for lovers, if you love racing, you're going to love today's Virginia 500 right here on Fox. Hi, I'm Chris Myers, and welcome to our mobile studio. We call it the Hollywood Hotel, just above the backstretch here at Martinsville Speedway. And today, there is vacancy at the Hollywood Hotel. Rusty Wallace will check in with us in just a couple of minutes. A couple of drivers, meanwhile, atop the point standings. Dale Jarrett and Jeff Gordon turning the points race into their own little personal one-on-one battle. Today, Jeff Gordon starts up front. After winning his 3rd pole of the year, Gordon is 2nd in points. He's won in Martinsville 3 times. Meanwhile, Dale Jarrett has never finished better than 3rd in Martinsville, made his first career Winston Cup start at this track. And the points leader starts with what he hopes will be a lucky 13th today in the 99 car. Jeff Burton, he enters 35th in points. He'll start 3rd, his best qualifying effort of the season. All right, other than DeVito and Travolta, we'll see who can get Shorty. 43 cars start this track on this just slightly more really than a half-mile long. It's the shortest track on the Winston Cup circuit, as we mentioned, so the last place car will start the race more than half a lap down. And I am a NASCAR nirvana, surrounded by expertise when it comes to racing.
But this is not a civil war.
This is not. No,
this is a family feud.
Family. It divides brother against crew chief against driver sometimes. Jeff Hammond and Darrell Waltrip, and you on the record with 8 poles.
Dysfunctional, I might add.
You have 8 poles here, Darrell, and 11 victories. Richard Petty, the king, with 15 victories at Martinsville. But you know something about what it takes to do well on this track. So give us a
we're going to take a lap around the track here, and we're going to take Dale Jarrett here. He comes off turn 4 to the start line. Down into turn 1, got a new patch right there that's upsetting the cars a little bit, but look how close to that curb you got to stay. Right around the bottom, right next to that curb. Get a little twitchy off of 2 there sometimes.
This is the right way to do it.
It comes off the concrete on the asphalt, the car will wiggle with you a little bit. Don't drive into the corner too hard, use too much brake. Get back on the gas and launch. I said launch up out of that 4th corner, back to the start line, like John Force. And here's the way you do it in car. Looking into that corner right, get that left wheel, you want to rub the Goodyear right off of that tire. But don't get up on the curb. Straight down that back, and that's how it looks from in the car.
Now, we're talking about brakes, Darrell. We keep talking about brakes. Normally, this is what the guys run at all the tracks. Atlanta, Charlotte, Rockingham.
What's that, a brake pad?
That's a brake pad right there. This right here is a passenger pad. But, buddy, this right here is a Martinsville pad. 500 laps, 50,000 miles. Big difference. You got to have big brakes here, and you understand that.
And you hope that'll last 500 laps.
Hope it lasts 500 laps.
I need you two to put on your brakes for just a moment here because
easy, brother.
All right, easy. Rusty Wallace leads all active drivers with 6 wins in Martinsville, and today the number 2 Miller Lite car will start 2nd.
Love me 2 times, baby. Go Rusty! Today.
All right, well, we welcome Rusty here to the program. King of the short track. Nice to see you again. And a couple of thoughts. First of all, how is it possible? Last year, you led everybody in laps. In fact, the closest guy was, I think, Tony Stewart, 600 behind you.
Don't look at me. I didn't tell you, man.
You have not led a lap this year, yet you're 6th in points. Come on, you're in the hunt here, Rusty. And what is the difference, and how do you turn that around?
Well, right now, I'm still finding myself out there, I guess you could say. This tire's thrown me for a loop, to be quite honest with you. The setups that we've run last year that have won races, they're different. They really are different now, the setups are. So I've never run a setup like I got in my car today because of the hardness of the tire. And so that's one thing that I just haven't figured out yet. Although we're running good.
Right.
You know, 3rd in the Daytona 500, a lot of good runs, all top 10s about everywhere. But, you know, I think the fans and myself are used to those top 3 runs and leading a lot of laps, a lot of poles. I think those will come, but it's tough right now.
I got to ask you, you're 2nd fastest qualifier. You could have been right around here behind Gordon. Why did you pick that pit number 11?
I picked pit number 11 because it's always brought me a lot of good luck. It's got an opening in the front of it, and I think Jeff Gordon's probably the guy I'm going to be racing all day long. So if I come in leading him, he quite honestly could come in front of me and block me in my pits. I know if I come in pit number 11, which I've had a lot of success in the past, I can't get blocked in there.
But what if something happens to him?
Nothing ever happens to that guy. You know that.
And speaking of pit road, in the last couple of weeks, we've seen, and we saw it back with Sterling Marlin and Mike Skinner, and then look at this, you know, guys, just it's and Mike Wallace's car. If you're driving here, and then we had last week an incident with you and involving Sterling Marlin's crew, which I know you spoke to him afterwards. Take us through what went on here, Rusty, and what you're going through as a driver in this.
Well, what happened last week at Texas was all my fault. Let me start out by saying that from the beginning. I take the full blame for it. I'm just glad nobody got hurt. But what happened was the 93 car got a lap down early. I made about 6 pit stops throughout the day. Sterling was pitted about 2 cars behind me. I kept zipping in my pits, and we had great pit stops. In fact, the adrenaline was flowing. We made it from 38 to 3rd, and we're sitting there looking like we're going to finish 5th or 6th. And what happened? That particular pit stop, it was the 40 car, the 93, and the 2 car. And when we come down pit road, I saw Sterling peel off, and I immediately gunned it and shot from my pits, and had no clue the 93 was behind me. I just hadn't seen him all day long.
And you went immediately over and talked to those guys.
Well, what happened was when I shot in underneath him to shoot in the pits, he come across the front, which was normal, and I hit the guy. Thank God nobody got hurt. I mean, I was the nervousest guy in the world. And afterwards, I went over and apologized to him because, hey, simply my fault.
Do you think today's pit road, since they've made it wider, is it going to make it better here as far as getting on and off pit road?
Well, it's going to make it better. It's going to give everybody a little bit more room. Everybody's going to use it, though. They're going to get more aggressive. They're going to try to stick the nose where maybe it doesn't have room for, but everything's better today with the garages and the pit road, the whole deal.
Well, we're not going to grill you anymore for now. I want to talk about, I know you also fly jets. People know you fly your own jet around. He's jealous because he can't fly a jet.
Not to answer my question.
Or he can't afford one.
Got a helicopter, got a jet.
You flew an F-16. Talk about, I know
Let me say one thing. Let me tell you, this guy's a very conservative dude.
He saved all his money?
I'm not afraid to go in debt, all right?
I don't go in debt.
Do you understand that?
And I rode with the Thunderbirds in the F-16. It's quite a ride.
It's quite a ride. It's a lot of fun.
I ain't doing that either.
Be it in a jet with being in a racer. I think the viewers at home again.
You got to respect both pieces. Both are fast. Both are super high performance. You know, I consider myself probably a better pilot than I do a race car driver. I've been doing it for a long time. I got almost 9,000 hours of flight time now.
So you got as many takeoffs as you do landings?
I got about 9,000 now. Yeah, I've been type-rated captain in the Learjet. Don't fly the helicopters yet, but I love them all.
All right, well, thanks, and good luck today.
And the way you won that race was they called the race short, if you remember.
Yeah, but I got past you.
I was coming.
I beat you.
In the break, they were talking about how he wanted a race short race.
Never ends.
Yeah, never
family
ends.
feud.
All right, have fun out there. All right, thanks for coming by. Darryl, you got to go up to the broadcast booth.
Yeah, I got to get out of here.
He wants to get back in the car. Today's race will mark the 500th, the Winston Cup start for Ken Schrader, his 33rd race in Martinsville. Meanwhile, Mark Martin, who won this race just a year ago, he rolls off 36 today. That's his worst start of the season. Elliott Sadler, who won the first short track race of the year just a couple of weeks ago in Bristol, he was last in practice this week among the starters. He starts 37th. Time winding down now to the green flag, but who are the fan favorites as we get ready to go?
The winner of the race is going to be Ward Burton.
Steve Park.
Rusty! Earnhardt!
Who do you think's going to win the race? You know, my man. That's who's going to win. The race. Oh, look.
Jeremy Mayfield.
Winner of today's race is Martinsville, Dale Jarrett.
Yeah!
Woo!
More than a half-century ago, Clay Earls and his partners built this little half-mile speedway in South Central Virginia. First dirt and now paved. It has become the short track that thinks it's a super speedway. Shaped like a paperclip and measuring only 1/2 mile. This racetrack plays host to some of the most exciting action in NASCAR. Welcome to the Winston Cup Series on Fox. Today, the short track slam bang of the Virginia 500. Let's go trackside to Matt Yoakum.
Mike, this historic half mile has a split personality, both beauty and beast. Martinsville is the last surviving member of NASCAR's original 8, a throwback to the days of Lee Petty and Red Byron, while current-day drivers like Tony Stewart would like to just throw it away because Martinsville demands finesse and rewards patience. This great old racetrack has had a number of facelifts through the years, from dirt to pavement to even concrete in the corners. But through the years, two things have remained constant. One easy bump by another race car, or one rub of a tire on the inside yellow traditional Martinsville curbing can ruin your day and throw away any shot at a victory. To Dick Berggren.
Every driver comes to Martinsville Speedway with one fervent hope: give me a break. Brakes are more important here than at any other speedway these guys race on. Here's why. Up there, they're going to be going about 100 miles an hour. That's the fastest point of the racetrack. Right here, the last part of the racetrack that's still straight before they get into the corner, the drivers are all on the brakes. Both feet trying to slow that car down, generating enough brake heat, somebody's liable to actually melt the right front tire, because by the time they get down there, in between turns 1 and 2, they're going to have had to scrub off 50% of the speed. Brakes will be a story today. To Steve Burns.
Well, Dick, the other thing these drivers they're gonna say is, I gotta get a grip on this new tire. They've never run this tire compound at Martinsville. It's a hard tire. They slide through the corners, but this tire is consistent, and Jeff Gordon's already said pit strategy could win this race. What he means is, do they take 2 tires, 4 tires, or no tires, Mike Joy?
Thanks, Steve. Let's have a look at some of the drivers who've been successful here. Jeff Gordon, 3 wins here, 2nd in the points. Rusty, 6 wins, 6th in the points. Ricky Rudd, Tony Stewart, Mark Martin have all been successful on this little short track and my favorite Winston Cup track. Hello and welcome to Martinsville. Mike Joy with Darrell Waltrip and Larry McReynolds. It's a beautiful track and it's short track action, but looking at qualifying and practice, Darrell, the cars are so close. They're all within 3 or 4 tenths of a second. So if they're all equal, how do you pass here?
It's where the aggravation factor is real high at this racetrack. You know what you're going to hear all day long? You're going to hear it up here in the booth. You're going to hear it down in the pits even. That's just racing. It is, but it's bad racing. What happens here is you just get a run on a guy. You've been trying to pass him. You finally get a run on him. You get a fender up about his rear bumper, and you don't back off. You can't.
So, Larry, do you build a car here fast or build one to last?
Well, you got to be here at the end. You got to try to stay on the lead lap to even be in position to win this thing. But as a crew chief, you tell your driver, take care of the brakes, take care of the car. But talking out of the other side of my mouth, if a guy's holding you up, look, you need to go. You need to do what you need to do to get by that guy. Lay on him a little bit.
And there'll be a lot of that here today. Well, let's go trackside for today's opening ceremonies.
Mr. Ray Fox. John Fox.
Let us pray. Father, as we come to the beginning of this race, I pray that you will bless each competitor with a sharp mind and steady hands and good judgment, that they may run fast, race hard, and finish the race without injury. As these teams commit themselves to give the very best to winning this race, may all of us commit ourselves to be winners in the race of life through our faith in Jesus Christ, in whose name I pray. Amen.
Now our national anthem, Corporal Andre Alexander.
Now for the command to start engines, the Grand Marshal for the Virginia 500, Junie Dunleavy.
Gentlemen, start your engines.
The F-18s from Beaufort Air Station doing the flyover. The engines are fired, and 43 cars are about to do battle, and I mean battle, here on the shortest track in Winston Cup racing. Tighten your belts, get a grip, and get set to go racing at Martinsville.
A little of your time can make a lifetime of difference.
Drag strip straightaways, tight turns. Gonna have some weather today, and unlike any we've had this season.
Drivers and crew chief will be looking at that one. Hot day. Hot on the drivers, hot on equipment. Track temperature. 2 different track temperatures. The straightaways being asphalt, 109 degrees. Concrete corners, 104 degrees. That's where the cars are going to be trying to grip the racetrack. Right here is where it makes the transition from asphalt to concrete. Both sets of corners here, concrete.
Budweiser, official beer of NASCAR, proud sponsor of the Buck Pole Award, given to the fastest qualifier at each Winston Cup race. Today's Buck Pole winner, Jeff Gordon. Since 1979, Anheuser-Busch has awarded more than $7 million as title sponsor of NASCAR's Pole Award program. It's his second of the season. Gordon, with 3 wins here, will lead them off. So let's have a look at today's starting grid.
Outside the front row, Rusty Wallace has won here 6 times, but hasn't won here since 1996. Hasn't led a lap at all in 2001.
I like the guy on the starting third today, Jeff Burton. Got a good starting spot. That's a good qualifying run for those guys. He's over in a good pit spot. Watch him.
Ricky Rudd, his most recent win was here 82 races ago.
Robert Presley has his best starting spot of the season.
The man that was fastest in happy hour, inside row 4, Jerry Nadeau. 2001 best finish, 3rd at Atlanta.
Bobby Hamilton, that's another guy I think got to keep an eye on. He won this race in 1998, and he's got a good car. Dale Earnhardt Jr. right there with him, and I think he's somebody that could really surprise us today.
Our points leader, Dale Jarrett, inside row 7. 2-time winner this season, best Martinsville finish, pair of 3rds.
Kevin Harvick, I tell you, this is his first Winston Cup race here, but that car runs good here. It always has.
Bill Elliott, second fastest of the Dodges. Casey Atwood, quickest, 8th in last year's race.
Mike Wallace has a new crew chief in place this week, Jim Long.
Jimmy Spencer, 7th here last fall, and Stacy Compton back where his Winston Cup career started.
Bobby Labonte outside row 12. Best Martinsville finish is 8th 3 times.
Kind of like Benson here, guys. He's good on long runs. He showed that last week. Watch him today.
Buckshot Jones there with Kenny Wallace back at row 14.
There's another guy that's real good in the long run as well. It's Steve Park. I think Park's going to be a contender.
500th career start and 33rd race here for Kenny Schrader. Kyle Petty in the show, and Dave Blaney.
Mark Martin outside row 18. His last win come here 1 year ago and has not won a race since. Elliott Sadler, winner at Bristol. Best finish in 4 Martinsville races, 25th.
Terry Labonte is making his 46th start here today. The best he's ever done, 2nd.
Kurt Busch, 4th last week with a new sponsor on that car, and Kevin LePage back again for Morgan McClure. Ron Hornaday Jr. rounds out the 43-car field. 500 laps today, $3 million at stake.
And we're getting ready to go racing.
Green flag, and we're racing at Martinsville. Yeah, Rusty may win the drag race here.
Talk about drag race. If you can imagine a car doing 1,000 quarter-mile drag runs in one sitting, that's what it's like here at Martinsville.
And Rusty jumps out there to the lead.
Wallace, Gordon, Rudd, Burton, Nemechek, Mayfield, Earnhardt Jr., and Presley. And they'll come around to start lap 3. We'll stand silent, honoring memory of Dale Earnhardt.
Mike, a lot of times on the start of these races, you can really make a lot of moves, pass a lot of cars on the outside, believe it or not. Everybody fights so hard to get to the inside, it bottlenecks up, and you can go around a lot of cars on the outside. Ricky Rusty got by the 24 car on the start. That outside's there for you in the start.
Ricky Rudd there just got hung on the outside and surrendered 3rd place to Jeff Burton and lost 4th to Nemechek.
Well, it doesn't last long. It's while everybody's trying to get down. They keep fighting to get to the inside, and it'll let the outside be open for a lap or two.
Now Earnhardt Jr. takes to the outside on Mayfield.
I believe with the tire combination we got here and the track being pretty slick down in the bottom groove, that you're going to see some guys make some good moves on the outside.
Battle of the Beers off turn 2.
Talk about the outside. Bobby Hamilton in the 55 car started in 9th. He's been working the upper groove ever since they started the race.
But just believe what I'm trying to tell you. The guy that wins this race won't be running up on the outside. You can make some good passes there right now because the cars are all bottlenecked up.
Right here, though, when he needed to go to the bottom of the racetrack, he did. Got underneath Ricky Rudd in that Texaco car.
Well, we got a bunch of cars down here in turn 1 and 2 that got all bunched up.
Everybody manages to get away. Darrell, that looked like it started 20 cars ahead of that pack when Bill Elliott got sideways and had to catch his car.
It did. Mark Martin was the big loser in that deal. Here's Mark right here.
There's Elliott, top left of your screen. He got sideways and everything accordion behind him.
All these cars just checking up, and Mark's caught in the middle there, and he just slid back about 10 spots. Things happen so quickly here, the spotter can hardly get the words out of his mouth, and you're in trouble.
See a lot of damage on the left front. That's okay here at Martinsville. You got to keep that coolant intact, though, where the air goes through to the radiator. That's the thing you want to keep clear, Matt Yoakum.
Larry, I talked to Bob Jeffrey, who's Dale Jarrett's spotter this morning on his way up to on top of the press box. He told me that this place takes 2 batteries where normally most racetrack spotters will only use 1 because they talk so much to the drivers working them through traffic. They go through so much battery juice, they've always got to take a spare with them.
Yeah, folks, if you think we talk a lot up here, you should hear those spotters.
Now, he is talking about batteries for his radio. Sometimes I think one of them's for the radio, one of them's for the spotter himself. He plugs himself into it. Because they can get excited.
Two drag strips and 2 U-turns. That's Martinsville Speedway. Here's Ricky Craven, 10th place. Casey Atwood right with him as they chase that 77 of Robert Presley. The Dodge onboard camper with Atwood.
Got the 66 car slow off turn 2 over here. Something's happened to it.
There's Todd Bodine limping.
Caught up on the outside and cannot get to pit road.
The entrance to pit road's right here in turn 3. There it is right there. So he's going to have to go all the way back around again to try to get to pit road.
Yeah, the front stretch is bordered by concrete on both sides. There's nowhere to go. At least now he's down to the inside.
One thing I'll be really interested in today, there was a lot of 650 gears being talked about being used today, and I think that's a gear that's going to give problems.
Matt, what's wrong with Todd?
Todd Bodine is going to try to take that car back to the garage. They're not exactly sure. They think either something in the transmission or something with the rear gear is gone amiss. A tough break for Todd Bodine.
The 650 gear is a new gear. I don't think we've ever run it here before, and I think a lot of guys are going to have trouble with that gear.
Ricky Rudd completes the pass, getting back by Bobby Hamilton, who had passed him earlier.
Well, as soon as the tire push, they start the tires here so low, like 20 pounds on the right side and 10 pounds on the left side. It takes 7, 8, 10 laps for that to come up to where the car's got some good traction.
Yeah, recommended air is 14 in the lefts, 24 in the rights. These things will build as much as 18 to 20 pounds in the right sides and 10 to 13, 14 pounds in the left sides. And the fronts will even grow more because heat's what makes the pressure go up, and you have so much brake heat here.
So Ricky Rudd is back up to 5th, trailing Rusty Wallace, Jeff Gordon, Jeff Burton, Joe Nemechek. We'll be back to Martinsville after this.
One of these things goes down, and trying to diagnose it is next to impossible.
The tire's junk. Mayfield's back out on track, but he has
We got a spin in turn 3 and 4. Andy Houston.
And that'll bring out the first caution of the day.
And a bunch of people are going, oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. Spun out, didn't hurt anything, and got a caution.
Michael Waltrip and Terry Labonte stayed on the lead lap. I don't believe Ward Burton was able to beat Wallace back to the line.
No, I don't think he did. That saved a bunch of guys from going a lap down.
Lap 40 is our first caution. Let's have another look here.
He just got around. I think he ran in there and he thought he was going to get into the back of Johnny Benson, and he probably got on the brakes a little too hard and locked him up.
All right, 40 laps on these tires.
I believe I'm going to stay out.
40 laps, I'm going to stay out. It's a good time to find out am I going to be able to do this or not.
So we'll be back and find out which of the leaders stay on the racetrack and which pit when we come back to Martinsville on Fox.
First caution after lap 44 now of the Virginia 500 with Jeff Hammond, Chris Myers, our mobile studio, the Hollywood Hotel. Rusty Wallace led everybody in laps last season. In fact, the closest guy was Tony Stewart, some 600 laps behind him. He had not led a lap all season long. Fires out, has led this lap the entire way. He also has his crew chief, Robin Pemberton, back after missing last week.
Yeah, good thing about it is I talked to Robin, and it was kind of like a false alarm. He went to a situation where, hey, I didn't feel quite right. Went to the doctor, and the doctor said, I don't like what I see. So it was more of a doctor's concern than anything else. He's fine. He's back here today, and I think it shows.
And he said that some people were blaming Rusty for the stress. He said, no, that's not the problem. Wednesday, he'll hear more from his doctor. Let's now hear more from our guys on pit road and Dick Bergman.
Interesting conversation between Robin Pemberton, crew chief for the leader, and his driver, Rusty Wallace. Pemberton called Rusty in, said, let's make a pit stop. Wallace never said a word. He just stayed out on the racetrack, hoping that everybody else on the lead lap would stay behind him and stay out there, and that's just what happened. To Steve Burns.
Dick, Jeff Gordon just radioed into his crew chief, Robbie Loomis, and said the car feels pretty good. It's just a little bit loose off. Remember, we talked about grip. Now, Ricky Rudd says the longer his car runs, the better it feels. Matt Yogan.
And Steve Dale Jarrett, currently running in 11th, reported into his crew chief, Todd Parrott. His car a little bit loose. They were hoping to make a stop, make a track bar adjustment, but it's no avail. The one advantage for DJ, now that Todd Bodine has fallen out of the race, he will now have a decent exit out of his pit stall. Remember, pit road very, very tight down here. You won't have to worry about another car pitting right in front. Mike?
At 13 cars toward the tail end of the lead lap did take occasion to pit under this caution.
Yeah, it could, that could pay off if it goes green. Now, those guys were praying for a caution before this happened. Now they're praying there won't be one.
Well, if we got a 20 or 30 lap run where Rusty and those guys had 60 or 70 laps on their tires, that strategy would pay off. Also, the top 22 cars, all the way back to Kenny Wallace in the 27 stayed out.
This ought to be an interesting restart. It's got the teammates on the front row here. I don't know if Rusty's going to be courteous to his teammate or not. Probably not.
Green flag, and will Wallace allow Mayfield to get back on the lead lap? He gives him plenty of room, Darrell. Nope. There. Not going to happen.
Rusty's pretty much one of those guys, if you can do it, I'll let you, but if you can't, I'm not going to let you.
And this is a racetrack. It's hard to let anybody do anything, because if he lets somebody get in front of him and hold him up, he's got all these other guys breathing down his neck.
And not only that, but then you got to use your brakes more because you got somebody in front of you. So, no, you don't want anybody in front of you here.
Jeff Gordon also clears the lapped car of Mayfield. Then it's Burton and Rudd coming up the outside, 3 wide behind them into the corner, and Ward Burton had to just about stop and then boot Andy Houston's car in the butt.
Yeah, he wasn't real happy with Andy Houston. Ward's a lap down, I think, and he's just didn't appreciate that move, I don't think, and he let him know about it.
And he continues to let him know about it.
That's root and gouge.
That's how you send each other a message on this racetrack. That was not nice, and I don't appreciate it.
Here's another look. Here's a look at it. See Houston 3 wide there.
And he just goes down and does a slide job, as they say, right into front of Ward. And Ward says, boy, what are you thinking? Give him a little drive-in service.
Now, Ward had just been lapped prior to the caution coming out, so that pinned him 1 lap down. Second and third place battle here. Jeff Burton gets a nose under Gordon.
Burton's got a pretty good looking car, and especially being on, 40-lap tires, 50-lap tires now.
Ricky Rudd, he wants to stay with Jeff Burton in the 99. If he opens that door all the way, he can go right through there with him.
Boy, Rudd's car really looks good. It comes up off a corner nice and straight. He's backing the gas hard. His car really looks good.
Our Texaco Haviland on board, watching Burton get a little bit squirrely there.
This is a racetrack, especially once you get some laps on your tires, Darrell. You got to drive it with the throttle pedal as much as the steering wheel. You got to finesse that gas. Pretend there's an egg under the throttle pedal.
Oh, yeah, and there's so much that you can do to help yourself here. The driver's tendency is to map the thing all the time. And the tuner, the engine tuner, can really help you by working on the linkage on the carburetor.
Point leader Dale Jarrett in 10th place. Working race traffic around Kurt Busch with that new sponsorship. And there's Tony Stewart right along with Jarrett, the Home Depot cam there.
These cars have got so much acceleration, so much power in the engine that when you've got a 633 gear laid up in that thing and you start talking about matting it, you got to have a good chassis set up or you're just going to buzz the tires right off the thing. The more you do that, the looser it gets.
And this racetrack is by far where we run the lowest gear. You mentioned 633, and of course a few cars we heard had put 650s in. The higher the number, the lower the gear. Remember, what makes that number up is the amount of teeth on the pinion divided into the amount of teeth on the ring gear. That's how you come up with the 633 or 650.
And I wish you could find out for sure. Now, Rusty just let Jeremy back in front of him to get that lap back because Jeremy's not holding
big
up.
Pile up at turn 2, Darrell, and it started again 10 cars in front of Kenny Wallace, who wrecked. Kevin Harvick got a bit loose, and it all accordion behind him.
And Rusty let Jeremy by just at the right time.
Oh, Kenny.
Big damage.
You see that the right front tire is really towed out. He's broke a tie rod on that thing. The tie rod which connects the spindle to the drag length. I'm sure that's broke. That's the reason the tire's out there and won't turn back in.
43's got smoke coming off of him too. He must have gotten into something. Oh, yeah, he did. I'm pretty sure he got into that 14 or the 14 got into him.
And there's Steve Park with
the he's got all kind of damage.
Yep. Well, let's see. Watch it. Here's Harvick. This is how it all starts way up here.
Yep.
Brett Bodine in the 11 car. He was down there. Harvick come down on him right there and started this chain reaction behind these guys.
And look at way back behind them.
Everybody just starts bumping into the back of each other, nowhere to go. Jimmy Spencer gets into the side of Kenny Wallace, sends him in the outside wall.
And the leaders are on pit road. Let's give a listen. Looking under Steve Park's car, what might have been dragging there after they complete this 4-tire change, and it looks like the official is holding Park.
I think he came in too fast, but man, he's got a lot of damage over here, and that right front was the wheel was bent up. He got into something really, really hard. Let's see if we can look around here and see what happened. Here's Andretti. He's got damage. Got a lot of beat up race cars here from that incident.
Well, And let's see if here's where John Andretti got that damage.
Here's the one in the 43 back here. Coming down. Oh, they're all checking up because of what happened up there in turn 2. Here they come. 43's got a lot of damage. Now Andretti is pretty well convinced that that was all Ron Hornaday's fault, and kind of let him know about it. So that little skirmish cost us quite a bit of damage on several race cars.
Let's go to Matt.
And Mike, 2 tires the call for Dale Jarrett's 88 car and a track bar adjustment. Remember, his car was a little loose. Also for rookie Casey Atwood, a slight air pressure adjustment. His car a tick loose. 2 tires and 1 can of fuel for the 19 car. To Steve.
Matt, bad news for Ricky Rudd, the 28. He's on pit road right now. They have a brake line loose. He could not get the car stopped on the track. In fact, the team had to stop it when he came to a roll here. Tough brakes. No pun intended for Ricky Rudd. Let's go to Dick Berggren.
Rusty Wallace did a good pit stop, a little bit over 15 seconds for 4 tires and fuel. He wanted to know what the left side tires looked like. He was told by his crew chief, Robin Pemberton, they look great. All they did in this car was take a pound of wedge out of the left rear, trying to help him out of the corner a little bit.
Second caution flag is cleaned up. We're set to go back to green. Sadler and Houston will try to get a lap back from the new race leader, who is Matt Kenseth.
Matt Kenseth, 17 car. He has not pitted on either one of these cautions. He has elected to stay out.
Well, I still don't think that's a real bad strategy until you find out how your car's going to do. Don't do this at the end of the day, do it at the beginning.
He overdrove turn 1 so bad, washed up the racetrack. Elliott Sadler in 21, he wants that lap back. Now, Kenny Schrader, he didn't pit this caution, but he did pit the caution about 15 laps ago, just like Ricky Craven in the 32 car and Ron Hornaday in the 14 car behind him.
On restarts, every time you go into turn 1, you're going to shove up because you're going to get a lot of buildup on your tires, particularly when they're old tires and you've been out there a while.
The 17, Kenseth, the leader. 36, Schrader, and 32, Craven are the front 3.
This is when it gets exciting, folks, because you got guys back in here that want to get back up front. They got 4 tires. We'll find out if 4 tires makes any difference or not.
All the crew chiefs will be watching what the 17 car Matt Kenseth looks like. He's got about 50 green laps on his tires. You can bet everybody's looking to see what his lap times look like, see what his car does.
Yeah, and here's a guy right here that's rather impatient, particularly since he took 4 tires and he got beat out of the pit by a couple of guys, and he's going to want to work his way right back to the front as fast as possible.
Dale Jarrett in the 88 car, he got 2 tires, and they made that track bar adjustment. His car's a little bit loose. What they did, they lowered the track bar in the rear. The track bar is what holds the rear end in the center of the car. Lowering it will help tighten that race car up.
Darrell, we've seen a lot of beat and bang already, but aren't fenders just a luxury here?
Be careful.
Well, they hold the car together, so all you got to do is keep this part right here intact. If you can keep that nose intact, the heck with the rest of it.
But you want to keep those fenders off the tires. That's the reason we make the wheel openings, great area around the tire, just as big as we can.
Short track slam bang today on Fox. We're at Martinsville Speedway in Virginia, where Matt Kenseth leads Ricky Craven, Kenny Schrader, Ron Hornaday, and Johnny Benson. This is NASCAR on Fox.
Who makes the best minivan? At Dodge.
Almost gets turned around.
Yeah, all you got to do is get a fender up along a guy, and you're going to take that position if at all possible. And, of course, that's all right when there's just the 2 of you, but you got a whole lot of people around you.
And a whole lot of race traffic. Not so for Ricky Craven, though. He has taken the lead from Matt Kenseth. It's the first time that Craven has led a Winston Cup race this year. Here's how it happened.
Up on that outside, got a good launch up off a corner and got some good straightaway speed. Drove it in a little harder on the outside there. Kenseth gave him the courtesy of staying low. Around he went.
Remember, Craven got 2 tires on the first caution flag. Kenseth is on the tires with which he started the race. Matt?
And Mike, the strategy is simple. Track position, track position, track position. Matt Kenseth started 25th. Going by the tires that were run on the Truck Series event here yesterday, Scott Riggs, the winner, ran over 150 laps on one set of tires to the finish. So they know the tire gave up about half a second over one run. So they're going to ride it out for about another 85 laps until they plan on making their first scheduled pit stop unless another caution comes out, because they're not giving up a lot of time. These tires wear very, very well.
Unbelievable. 3 wide racing in the back of the pack here.
Well, I've been watching Harvick all along, and he is being very, very aggressive. He's taking a lot of bold moves out there, and as you can see, people don't appreciate it.
Kurt Busch and Kyle Petty got together.
Remember Ricky Rudd, he had that brake line problem. He's back out there 2 laps down in the Texaco 28 car.
That's too bad, too, because I tell you, he had one of the best-looking cars on the track, but he can get that back here. Stay calm, don't get excited, and he can get up there on the start of the on some of these restarts and get a lap back.
Now there goes.
Look at this, 3 wide. Whoops,
Harvick.
You don't do that here.
He did.
These are just young guys, you know.
Michael Waltrip, the Napa onboard camera.
And he really doesn't have anywhere to go. You just got to follow along.
Rooting and gouging and let me through there.
If you'll just stick with this in a minute, Robert Presley will send Harvick a little message right down here.
Rusty Wallace spins coming out of turn 2. No caution.
And he's going. I mean, he just spun it around, did a 360, and here he comes.
On your outside,
somebody got into the back of him, looks like.
Well, we've seen spin to win here before.
Somebody got in the back. See all that damage there? And I think his left rear tire might be hurt. Let's see if we can see that left rear tire. It looked like it was. No, it's okay.
And the problem would be, Darrell, if he flat spotted those tires, which means did he ever lock them up while he was spinning?
Here he comes. Oh, he got into the back of Jarrett, and then Burton got into the back of him.
We see this all the time here.
Yeah.
It just stacks up as it goes back through the field when somebody checks up or gets back to the gas sooner.
Rusty is really, really kind of hyper kind of a driver. He's real aggressive, and he's not real patient.
But Darrell, he caught a gear and just kept on going. That car never completely stopped.
But he is real smart.
Dick Berggren.
Robin Pemberton, Rusty Wallace crew chief, has just called him in and said that everything is fine. He's trying to assure his driver. Meanwhile, they have a new spotter that started last week, Earl Barban. He is doing the same. They are just trying to tell Rusty, don't worry, it's early on, no big deal. So what? We spun out. This race has been won before by a guy who spun. Fellow's name is Jeff Gordon. Mike?
He lost 6 positions through that whole ordeal. Went from 12th to 18th.
Yeah, it scared everybody around him worse than it did him.
Yes.
So everybody had to check up while they see where he was going to end up.
Well, in 2 weeks, we go from NASCAR's shortest to its longest track. Longest oval track, 2.66 mile Talladega Superspeedway.
3 wide, 4 wide, 5 wide racing on that racetrack.
At nearly 200 miles an hour. Very different from what we're seeing today. Ricky Craven from Newburgh, Maine, your leader. Kenny Schrader there in 3rd behind Matt Kenseth. Schrader's 500 Winston Cup start comes today. How about his race strategy, Steve?
Mike, I talked to his crew chief, Newt Moore, this morning, and he said a couple of things. First, they were going with a very conservative, kind of an old-fashioned setup here for Martinsville, going back to basics. He also said if they caught a caution early, they would do exactly what they did, and that is stay out, get track position, and not pit. So right now, it's Schrader's 500 start is going according to plan.
The lap car, the McDonald's car of Andy Houston, and then here's Mark Martin.
Started 36th. And again, won this race a year ago. How did he win it? Pit strategy. He stayed out near the end of the race. Everybody else pitted, got 4 tires. Mark stayed out, won the race.
The reason he's up there is because he pitted the first caution, and then when all the other guys pitted, he stayed out, so that paid off.
The Pfizer cam looking back at Ron Hornaday. Now Hornaday is the 5th place car again because of that same strategy.
I think Larry talked to the crew chief. He said very happy with the car. They made some changes on it, really woke it up.
Well, he's working with a new crew chief this week, Fred Graves. Fred Graves was his crew chief in the truck series when he won so many races and won that championship. Didn't qualify good, made a bunch of changes on spindles and everything yesterday. Real happy with this car at the end of practice.
And if Ron Hornaday can't run good here, then there's probably not very many places he can, because this is the kind of track out in California he grew up on.
Dale Jarrett working his way up through.
All clear.
Battling there with Casey Atwood. and Stacy Compton. Now looking back at Jeff Burton, who has moved inside Compton for 10th place.
I've got Jeremy up high in turn 3 and 4 down here. I don't know what happened to him. I think he's got another tire down, actually. Pretty sure.
Oh, yes.
Right front, yeah. Now, that can be from a number of things, but I believe it might be from excessive brake heat that he keeps having trouble with that right front. That's the second right front he's had to go down on him. I'm pretty sure that's what's happening.
And, you know, a lot of times we'll blame right front tire problems on too much camber, leaned in at the top too much. But this is one place you can get by with a pretty aggressive camber number, as much as 6 degrees in the right front. We got trouble.
Michael Waltrip.
That started off at turn 2. Michael got into Spencer. Spencer drove it down in under him going into turn 3. Turned him around.
Lap 94. It's our third caution of the day. Second one involving Jimmy Spencer, who's had a lot of success in the modifieds here. Let's watch the Napa onboard.
This happens way over here coming off turn 2. Michael got into Jimmy a little bit, and then Jimmy just drove it down in under him and said, thank you very much. That's the thing about here. A lot of racetracks, you got to restrain yourself. Here, NASCAR's got to restrain you.
Jeremy Mayfield's right front tire changed along with the rest of them.
And Matt Kenseth, who was leading this race, remember, he's got 91 laps on his tires. He's in the pits, Dick Berggren.
Yeah, they probably thought a lot of other people were going to follow them down pit road, but at least the number 32 car has come down pit road. Craven, who is running in second spot behind them. It's going to be 4 tires for Matt Kenseth. Crew having a relatively slow stop, but with this many cars, I should say this few cars up pit road, it's not a big deal, and he takes off with no one passing him. Mike?
Ken Schrader also stopping, and now Kevin Harvick, Bill Elliott on pit road, along with Jimmy Spencer, Buckshot Jones, Sterling Marlin, Kyle Petty, and the 4 car of Kevin LePage. So we're under caution for the 3rd time at the short track of Martinsville, Virginia. You're watching NASCAR on Fox.
Let me tell you something. When this day's over with, that car might be in victory circle, but it won't have anything but a roof number on it. I can guarantee you that, because he'll wear it out.
For more on Hornaday, Dick Berggren.
Ron Hornaday has done the incredible, the impossible today at Martinsville. He has gone from 43rd, dead last, to 1st. And right now, you ready for this? It's the first time he has led a Winston Cup stock car race since October 30th, 1994. This pit crew is absolutely wild with enthusiasm. They think they got a shot to maybe win this thing today. Mike?
Sure looks good right this moment.
I raced with him in the trucks here one time. I know one thing. He knows how to get around here. And he knows what he likes, and he's got a whole handful of it right now.
Kurt Busch has taken his car to the garage. Matt?
An update on the 97 car, Mike. Something wrong with the right front caliper. It's leaking. They're trying to change parts. Ben Leslie, the new crew chief, 2nd week on the job, working diligently trying to fix this 97 car. Also, an update on John Andretti, the 99 winner of this event. After contact with the 1 car of Steve Park, damage to the right front apparently knocked a bunch of the belts off, the oil pump belt, alternator. So they're replacing that, but they're losing a lot of time behind the pit wall to Steve Burns.
Daryl, you're talking about all these cars, or a lot of them being damaged. The 99 of Jeff Burton has a big dent on the hood. His crew chief, Frank Stoddard, has radioed and told him, hey, that dent on the hood should give you more downforce. Don't complain.
Well, sometimes it's better to be lucky than good, you know.
The only thing they got to be concerned with, if it damaged the radiator ductwork, the duct that shoots the air through the front end of the radiator, they got to monitor that water temperature. Hottest day we've had here in a long time, and it can make that water run very warm.
And when these cars are all lined up like they are, running bumper to bumper, you get no air to the radiator or the brakes. So that's why being out front is so critical. Now look at Jeremy. Do you see Jeremy?
He gets 1 of his 2 laps back. He's got to make up all this ground. Still will be 1 lap down after making that unscheduled stop right before the caution come out.
And Jeremy gave Ron a nice little wave there as he went by, saying, thank you, buddy, for not holding me up. I'm laps down and need your help.
Well, if you run Hornaday spotter or crew chief, you say, look, the 12 car's 2 laps down. He's got fresh tires. You do not. Do not sit there and use your stuff up trying to fight.
But I just want to tell you, it ain't very many times you give a friendly wave here.
Right.
That was a friendly wave.
All 5 fingers.
That's right.
Let's see if Mayfield on Fox tracks here is able to get away from Hornaday.
I'd say he probably is, because he's got fresher tires. Should be a good bit faster.
That's where it should show up, right there in the mid-corner speed.
You can see as he's opened up a huge gap there between Ron and himself. So he's got a lot fresher tires on the car, and the car really looks good. I don't know. Looks better than it did when he started this race. Here's got a cat right back here that looks good too. He hit the afterburner on that pass.
Jeff Gordon dive-bombed Mark Martin going into turn 3. Takes over second spot.
And that all happened because of what he did in turn 2. He launched out of turn 2, got a great run, and you're able to make that pass.
Jeff Burton trying it on rookie Casey Atwood.
And when a guy gets there on the inside of you like that, the best thing you do is let him go, because all you're doing is slowing both of you down.
That's for 7th place. The 21, Elliott Sadler, is a lap down.
There's places on this track where you can make time, exiting both corners, obviously. All you do entering a corner is mess up your lap. You drive in too hard, or you race people down in there and push them into the curb. Here we go, trouble, turn 2. Lots of cars, lots of cars.
Waltrip, Schrader, Kyle Petty, Buckshot Jones, and I think Harvick got the worst of it.
Yeah, Harvick's car is really damaged.
4th caution of the day at lap 112.
He has busted the radiator here. They'll have a lot of work to do here. You see the water running out of it. You see the steam. The biggest thing they'll have to do there is get all the sheet metal cut away and replace that radiator.
I think Waltrip was the first car to go around, but not sure who he might have had help from.
I know Kenny Schrader's car, his car's torn up pretty badly. And
yeah, it's only got 1 M left.
Yeah, short an M.
Here we go.
Looks like Matt Kenseth, the 17 car, gets into Michael in the 15 car. Nowhere for Schrader, Kyle Petty, Harvick, Buckshot Jones in the 44. Nowhere for those cars to go.
Actually, I believe Buckshot came out pretty lucky. I don't think he got a lot of damage, but the rest of them did.
From above.
Here we go down into turn 1. Little pop there in the rear end. That's all it takes. It's so uncalled for. That's what I'm telling you. People look at that and say, oh, it's just racing. It is, but it's bad racing. You're not supposed to be doing that.
From the Napa onboard camera.
Sterling Marlin in the 40 car just getting by.
Oh, Buckshot. He got into something pretty hard.
I thought he got out of there pretty lucky, but he didn't.
Ron Hornaday gets his service, and he's gone. Matt?
A chassis adjustment for Dale Jarrett in the left rear, still complaining his car's a little bit loose. A 4-tire stop. Darren Jarley, who actually drives a UPS truck, hands the tire into Mike Trower. A little bit of trouble on the left rear. 88's down and away, as is 19 to Steve.
Jeff Gordon getting 4 tires, a slight air pressure adjustment. 99 also gets 4 tires and a track bar adjustment.
Rusty Wallace only took 2 tires on that stop now, and that's how he got out ahead of those guys. I asked him about his pit selection. I wasn't real happy. I wouldn't have been with pit number 11. I think before the day's over with, he's going to not be happy with it either.
Kevin Harvick, meanwhile, has taken his car to the garage with heavy front-end damage.
Look, here's pit number 11 right here. He likes that because it's in a straight line. He's got an opening right here, so he thinks that's the place to be. But quite frankly, he's got to come out of his pit and come around this pit lane here, around this turn. Here's Gordon way down here in pit number 1. He just shoots straight out. Rusty could have been right there.
Yeah, what you got to remember, here's the line right here that determines who beats who out. Gordon just has to move about 10 feet, and he's beat everybody out.
I questioned him in the pre-race show about that, and he said, just watch me and see how I do.
Dick?
Hornaday just pitted out of the lead, took 4 tires. That's the first time the left side tires has been changed so far today. Fred Graves, his crew chief, starts today with Hornaday in this series.
Right. Rusty's pit stall is like having a parking place right below the tower here. You get in real easy, but getting out, not so good. We'll be right back to Martinsville.
Grandstands and infields.
Racing Talladega. Jeff Gordon winning this race last year, the pre-race show at 12:30 Eastern. You'll see it on Fox. What we've seen so far, Jeff Hammond, is we're under caution for the 4th time today. You know, last year at this track, 17 cautions set a race record. It just seems like the slightest move and you're bumping into somebody. And every car, there's more body work on these cars than Michael Jackson.
We were talking to some guys in the garage earlier today, and they said, I can't believe we're going to take these beautiful machines out here and just basically beat them all to pieces. But this is a slugfest. This is a bull ring. You're going to have this kind of damage. The guys are going to root and gouge because the competition is so equal. The one thing I'm really kind of noticing right now is Goodyear has got a tire that is really fantastic. Got guys that way in the back are still out there, only got like maybe 80, 90 laps on these tires, and they're still staying on the racetrack. I can't believe this.
We saw some of the damage. Speaking of bad bodies, let's go. And I kid because I care. Let's get back down to Dick Berggren on pit road. Dick?
Well, Kevin Harvick's car is an absolute mess. Not only is the radiator busted, hood all bent up, the entire front area is bent, the radiator shroud has gotten caught in the fan belt has turned over. These guys have really got some problems. Harvick sits on the back of the wall. What happened?
Well, unfortunately, I think we got caught up in the middle of the mess. Whole lot of guys that are impatient, and we were just trying to ride around trying to fix our car and stay on the lead lap. But need to go to passing 101, I think. Instead of running into each other, you might want to try and drive around, but there's not a lot of room, so we'll fix it and get back out and gain some points.
Welcome to Martinsville. To Steve Burns.
Dick, Jeff Gordon said he's happy with that 24 car. They dropped air pressure a little bit in the right rear tire. Jeff Burton says, you know what? It's not a slugfest. It's a circus out here. Let's go to Matt Yoakum.
Down here in the Casey Atwood pit, the 19 car took on 4 tires, and fuel also went down 1 pound on both rear tires, complaining his car a little loose. One problem for Atwood, his feet are beginning to burn, so they put in an ice pack through the window for him to try to cool his feet off. The other problem, someone threw a Gatorade bottle out the window. The 8 car, Dale Earnhardt Jr. ran over it, splashed Gatorade all over the windshield.
All right, thanks, guys. You know, back to Kevin Harvick. He thought he was going to get a break running in the Busch Series and Winston Cup, running just this weekend with no Busch race. And, of course, next weekend he'll get a break with just the Busch racing and no Winston Cup racing at that time. But so far, rough going for Kevin Harvick. Today's aerial coverage being provided by the Monster.com blimp Trump. Monster.com is the world's leading online career resource. Monster.com. Job good, life good. We're watching live racing, the Virginia 500 from Martinsville, Virginia. Mark Martin, your defending champ and your leader at the moment. Don't go away.
The limited edition Napa NASCAR Heat PC game. You can get it absolutely free when you purchase $25 or more during the Napa Turn Up the Heat sale. Move fast. It's all over April 30th. At participating Napa Auto Parts stores and Napa Auto Care Centers. In addition, save big on Napa Lawn and Garden tractor batteries, Turtle Wax Super Hard Shell Wax, and a lot more at your participating Napa Auto Parts store.
Who makes the best minivan? Dodge Caravan uses infrared sensors that read the temperature around the driver, front passenger, and back passengers, and give each zone its own control. It's the only minivan that offers automatic 3-zone climate control. Dodge Grand Caravan, the best minivan ever. See, compare, drive. Grand Caravan, the minivan rated best by AAA.
exhaust and tires running across it and clean pit road.
But I tell you, most of those crew chiefs are telling those drivers to stay out of that stay dry. You get that on your tires, you get back out on the racetrack, buddy, you better do a good job of cleaning them off or you'll miss the first turn.
And that's the worst thing about having tires on the car that you have not pitted and the pace is slowed down under caution. It picks up the rubber, it picks up oil dry, it'll pick up anything, and it's hard to get cleaned off.
Darrell, is there anything worse than a piece of Speedy Dry in your eye?
Oh, no. What happens is you get something in your eye and there's nothing you can do about it. You rub it, it makes it worse. You got gloves on, so you just kind of deal with it. That's part of being a driver. That's why they pay you the big bucks.
So we're under caution here in today's Winston Cup race. Yesterday at the Martinsville Speedway, the Craftsman Truck Series was in action. Scott Riggs picked up the win. Travis Cavapo, the rookie second. Terry Cook, Joe Ruttman, Randy Tolzman. So here's a look at the current standings brought to you by Sears. Riggs increased his lead to 27 over Joe Ruttman. Rookie Ricky Hendrick.
Say that 3 times.
That's a mouthful.
Terry Cook, a great job, Ricky did.
Yep, and Cook and Tolzma, the top 5.
Scott Riggs won that race by staying out, track position.
How many Winston Cup crew chiefs do you think we're looking on?
I would say every one of them.
I'd say so.
I'd say some of them anyway, because some of these guys have used that strategy so far, some haven't. But it's still so early, 127 laps into the race. Got to work on your car, got to do a lot of things. Everything dictates what you do.
What we're going to do in one lap is restart this race and conclude the 4th caution flag of the day. All right, folks, you want us to crank it up? Well, we will for this restart.
What are they going to crank up down there anyway? They want me to crank up. If I get any more cranked up, I'll be down there with them.
I think they'd like that.
Well, do that sometime. Go down there and sit amongst them and do a show.
Real quick before they go, Mark Martin, Terry Labonte, first and second. The last time they was on pit road was lap 141, 80 laps ago. Let's go. Crank it up.
After Bobby Hamilton, now Ricky Craven passes Terry Labonte. And if you've been with us all weekend on Fox Sports Net and FX, I know what you're thinking. That we cranked it up so we could enjoy this load of Martinsville Speedway hot dogs that just arrived here in the booth. And you would have been right.
Yeah, we'll get to that later. But that crank it up, I have thrived on that all my life. That's what I love about racing, is the sound of those engines when they're running right. It's a beautiful thing.
Bobby Hamilton in the 55 car, he's running in the second position. Now, he was on pit road at lap 58, about 12 or 13 laps after Mark Martin and Terry Labonte. So a little bit fresher tires, not a lot, but enough to get him up into the second position. Ricky Craven in the 32 car, now he was on pit road at lap 95. He has a lot fresher tires than Bobby Hamilton or Mark Martin.
Rusty Wallace went back to the outside to try Jimmy Spencer and had no luck there.
The battle for 10th position.
And Spencer's car, it looks good compared to what it's going to look like when the day's over. And he is running 10th. But that thing, the K will be upside down.
When we talk about driving with finesse, don't watch Jimmy Spencer.
Oh, no.
Don't tell the story.
If you saw the open to last week's show, that's all that car needs on it is that flashing light on the roof.
Yeah.
Mark Martin is your leader. He's led 29 laps. Last year, he led something, came from 21st place last year.
It's like a freeway in LA about 6:30 or 7 o'clock in the morning. They just keep coming in a single line.
Here they come again.
Now, Ricky Rudd, the 28 car, had that brake line problem. He made one of his laps up. He's now 1 lap down. You can make that up. I mean, we've got almost 365 laps to go. You can make that lap up if you got a good race car. He just needs to be patient.
Oh, actually, he's in great shape. He gets his start on the inside every time. He doesn't have so much traffic to deal with. When he's going to have the problems when he makes his lap up and got to restart at the rear of the field. Wow. You can actually read the number on that car still.
Outside.
Folks, you should be up here. When Darrell saw how close they were, he took 2 steps back from the monitor, and we all took 2 steps with him. That's close.
It's not as close as they get, though. No smoke coming off either one of them.
Like a drag race right here down the front straightaway. Who can beat who to turn 1?
And you can't drive in that corner too hard because you got to get on the brakes. You get on the brakes, the car wants to push up. When it pushes up, there's somebody right beside him. You get into him.
Clear all around. Good work with him.
Jeff Gordon and Jeff Burton and Ron Hornaday trying to work their way back up through, but they're back in 13th, 14th, and 15th place behind Rick Mast. Nice run for Mast today.
Yeah, had a great qualifying run, and Rick knows how to get around this joint, so doesn't surprise me to see him right there. He just needs to have a real good finish. That team has really struggled.
Mast in 12th place in the number 50.
But he just got a little tail happy off the corner, and that opened the door for Gordon to stick the nose in there, and there he goes. And here will come Burton and probably Hornaday too. See, all the cars run about the same speed down the straightaway. It's how you get into that corner and how quickly. See how quickly Jeff picked up the throttle and shot in front of Rick there.
And that's where you beat people here. You beat them by rolling through the middle of the corner, being able to get on that throttle and staying it off the corner.
Now it's Burton who has the inside on Rick Mast.
Got to be pretty impressed with Burton today. I mean, this is as good a run as I've seen him have this year.
High, clear high.
Now it's Ron Hornaday who's got room inside.
Now there's Hornaday up on the curb. He'll be into the side of Rick Mast, and he'll have it sideways, and he'll bump into him. And finesse is not in his dictionary, I don't think.
Sterling Marlin racing Ricky Craven for 3rd and takes it going into the corner. Turn 1.
Ricky Craven in the 32 car. This is a brand new Laughlin low snout car. They actually went to Hickory Speedway and tested this car earlier this week. And people might say, why didn't you come to Martinsville and test it? Again, NASCAR only gives these teams 7 tests at a Winston Cup racetrack. So many short tracks in the area, teams decided to go kind of find out what they had at some other racetracks.
Yeah, what happened there? Classic Mark Martin. Ricky Rudd got up on his back bumper. Mark just pulled all the way to the inside of the back straightaway and said, you go right ahead, young man.
Steve Burns.
Jimmy Elledge is a crew chief for Bobby Hamilton in that 55. He told his spotter on the roof, Bart Kreisman, go ask the spotter for Mark Martin, Chris Morris, if we can get up to him and lead a lap, and we've got trouble, the 19 car.
Casey Atwood got turned around coming out of turn 2, and Darrell's another one of those chain reaction situations.
It's no making his own, but I tell you who's benefiting big time is that 28 car.
Ricky Rudd gets his lap back as they take caution at lap 148.
I know Ricky is very happy about that caution.
But it's going to cost Casey Atwood at least 1 lap.
Yeah, I guess he can't get turned around. Maybe he can't get the engine fired back up. No, he's got it going.
Here's what happened.
Just gets a little nudge here. It just takes so little. It just takes the car is kind of like halfway hung out, and Somebody bumps into you while you're trying to pick up the throttle, and around you go.
He looks like he checked up for Jeremy Mayfield in the 12 car. Dale Jarrett gets into the back of him.
From the UPS cam on board Jarrett.
That's exactly what happened.
Mark Martin's on pit road. Dick.
This is only his second pit stop of the race so far. The left front corner of this car is well damaged as Robert Benfield heads there with his air gun to change left side tires. The car is running very well. The only adjustment that they made was to the track bar. They just told them, watch the 33. We have a wider pit road today, but the crews are all very concerned about the possibility still that somebody could come out of his pits and run into somebody else, which will end your day. Mike?
Yeah, they widened pit road by about the width of a car.
It's really helped, too. I mean, we haven't seen quite as much action on pit road as we've seen here in the past.
Terry Labonte coming through, and there's Rudd. Steve?
Ricky Rudd getting right side tires, trying to make those laps. He lost up earlier with a brake line bad. 4 tires for the 28 car. No chassis adjustments that we can see. Left side tires going on. Norman Koshimizu gets the gas in. He can do it in 13 seconds. Ricky Rudd is away.
We're at Martinsville, Virginia, working the 5th caution of the afternoon at lap 151. And here's a look at the spin cycle from the back bumper of Casey Atwood's car. We'll be right back. This is NASCAR on Fox. All they left out was rooting and gouging. And here's our Elite 8 view.
Now we got something to talk about here, folks. Now we got something we can talk about.
Yeah, it's a Brady Bunch look.
That's fun right there, boys.
5th caution of the day we're working.
Pick one. Actually, they're cleaning up pit road. That's what the caution is for. They're trying to blow some of that stage dry off. I wonder why they didn't do that earlier.
Well, those 43 sweepers didn't do too good a job a while ago. They put a track.
They're not going to drive through that stage dry. They don't get all over their tires.
The old John Deere will work every time.
Steve?
Before that caution came out, Bobby Hamilton's team had cut a deal with Mark Martin to Mark was going to let Bobby Hamilton lead a lap. Remember, it's 5 points to lead 1 lap. Well, now Sterling Marlin has cut a deal with the 55 car. Bobby Hamilton is going to let Sterling lead a lap. Then Sterling will let him go by. A couple of Tennessee homeboys, Darrell Walters' boys, cutting a deal. Let's go to Chris Myers.
All right, so we've had 6 leaders, 7 different lead changes. We're under our 5th caution. Something to keep an eye on here, though, as the drama builds here, Jeff Hammond. You know, the license plate in Virginia says Virginia's for lovers, but no love lost between Tony Stewart and Jeff Gordon. Jeff Gordon currently 9th. Tony Stewart inching up 13th, plus Dale Jarrett 14th. You have the Ford, Chevy, and the points battle going on. I have a feeling that those 3 are going to tangle long before this day is over.
Well, they won't be by themselves. I can tell you that right now, Chris. This place right here is going to bring out the best, the best and the worst of everybody. You're going to see some sportsmanship, as we're talking about right now. Bobby Hamilton, Sterling Marlin working together, you know, kind of like let a guy lead a lap. But at the same time, there's not any friends out there, and they're going to be beating and banging and going all day long. That's Martinsville and short track racing.
All right, some of the battles within the battle here in Martinsville. Tony Stewart, by the way, booed in pre-race introductions. Let's go down now to Matt Yokin. Matt?
Hey, Chris, self-discipline, the call down here in the 17 pit of Matt Kenseth. They're hoping to pit about lap 255, 100 or so laps from now, because he is off sequence from the other leaders. So he's going to hold on to his tires, try to make them last until about that time. Unless we get a caution, then he'll come in and pit then. Dick?
Ricky Craven completing his comeback here. He is having a terrific day. His best prior finish here at Martinsville was 8th. Right now he is running in third spot, having the absolute best day ever. Coming back from serious injuries. A lot of people thought he was all done. He's not done. Steve.
Dick, at the top of the show, Darrell and Larry talked about how you had to take care of your car, take care of the equipment. Jerry Nadeau had a great qualifying run, but he may be in trouble. That 25 car, the oil is at 300 degrees and the water is at 260. That's hot.
That's pretty hot, but that's not uncommon for Martinsville. Like I say, you run so close to each other, you don't get a lot of air through those openings that you see in the front of the car there. And the reason Sterling's in a big hurry, wants to lead the race, like to get out of here as fast as he can. He wants to get back to Columbia, Tennessee. It's Mule Day down there, boys.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
That's big.
Big, and he probably got some money and wants to spend down there.
157 laps complete. Only once has this race been decided on a last lap pass. Who did it? Anybody looking very proud standing to our right, Larry?
The bigger question is, how did he do it?
Was in the fall of 1987, folks. DW passed Dale Earnhardt to win on the last lap. How did you do it?
Well, it was actually come off of turn 2 running third. And Dale was leading, and he had crowded Terry up into the wall a little bit, and Terry was hot. Terry ran down to turn 3. He was going to get in there and give Earnhardt a nudge. I got into Terry. Terry got into Dale. They both spun. I come around, won the race. We're going to go racing.
Green flag at lap 160 with Bobby Hamilton leading Sterling Marlin, Ricky Craven, Matt Kenseth, Bill Elliott, Kevin LePage, Rusty Wallace, Johnny Benson, Jeff Gordon, and Jeff Burton, the top 10.
Look at that 4 car right there, Kevin LePage. He's already worked his way up into the 6th position. We got to remember, they're kind of doing a race to race. We did hear earlier this week, Kevin LePage will be in that car at Talladega in 2 weeks, but they're still dating. They have not decided to exactly get married yet.
We've done an awfully good job. He's had a 15th and 11th place finish, and I tell you, that isn't too bad for a guy just hopping in that little hot rod.
Yeah, he started 42nd. They haven't exchanged rings, but I hear they're drafting a prenup.
But here's their problem. They're out of provisionals.
Yes.
They haven't been qualifying that well. So they're going to have to step the qualifying program up for him. He's doing his job in the race. They're going to have to do their job getting him qualified.
Finished 11th at Fort Worth last week. In both races, Bristol and Fort Worth has 2 top 15 finishes. Big progress for that race team.
The Miller Lite Cam on board Rusty Wallace. Right behind LePage. Oh. Trouble. Oops. Oh, almost trouble.
Semi-trouble.
You'll hear us say that about 100 times, folks. It's just an almost.
If we say big trouble, that's what it's.
Yep. Trouble's one thing. Big trouble's something else. Just so you folks at home understand.
They started that wreck. They just didn't finish it. Benson almost went around in turn 2, but everybody continues.
We had guys with cameras down there looking, where's the trouble?
Yeah. All right, here's how we caught our breath right here. Watch Benson there in the 10.
Oh, Mikey, you shouldn't do that.
Nice save, Johnny. Go, Johnny, go.
If Mikey's not careful, his crew chief's going to tell him under caution one time, go up there and hit the pace car, and he's going to say why. He said it's the only car you hadn't hit.
That's right. He's going to break Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s record if he keeps going, which was pretty incredible last year.
Benson battling Steve Park.
You have to, when your car is not right, when your car's not doing what it's supposed to be doing, you can't overdrive it.
Now, this is not for position. Benson is 8th, and Park is 33rd, a lap down.
Had that trouble earlier, had the penalty, and got held in the pits.
Excuse me, Park is 2 laps down.
Yeah, he had quite a bit of damage to the right front. He and John Andretti got together on the front here.
Well, that deal between Hamilton and Marlin has not yet paid off. Hamilton with a 6/10 of a second lead.
Well, I think Bobby wants to get strung out a little bit more here, get a little space between the other cars, and then he might work with him. But got to kind of get a breakaway first.
Bobby Hamilton, the 55 car, quietly has kind of, after 7 races, worked his way into 7th place in the Winston Cup points. So these guys, they just keep getting better and better each week.
Well, Bobby loves Martinsville. He's won here, and it's one of his favorite tracks. Good short track racer, good short track program, got a good crew chief.
Now, Darrell, I would challenge you on that right there, because when I'm talking to Bobby, he hates this place. That's the reason I think he runs so well, is because it makes him have to have patience. He told us earlier during qualifying, I may have a good record here, but I'd rather race someplace else.
Well, a lot of guys don't like to race here because it is physically demanding. Very, very physically demanding. You're jacking on that steering wheel all day long. You got cars bumping into you. You're braking with your left foot, gassing with your right foot. It's hot. You get kind of miserable out there. So that's probably why he doesn't like it.
For more on Bobby Hamilton, Dick Berggren.
Hamilton's number 55 car was one of the very last cars to leave the garage this morning. Crew Chief Jimmy Elledge decided at the last possible moment to re-engineer the brakes on this automobile, trying to change the brake bias front to rear. How much brake would the front wheels have? How much would the rear wheels have? And he promised me this morning that if it worked, they were going to be extremely fast. If it didn't, well, it worked.
21:08. Yeah, what happened, they went and tested this race car at Greenville, South Carolina, took his teammate, Joe Nemechek. Joe drove the car about 2 laps. He said, guys, I don't know what's going on, but something is not right with these brakes. It's like it's got too much rear brake. These guys run dual master cylinders, a master cylinder for the front, a master cylinder for the rear. You normally have a little bigger master cylinder on the rear. When they put this car together, they got the master cylinder swapped, had way too much rear brake. This is the first time today he's got to run this race car with the master cylinders right.
I mean, common sense would tell you the big one went on the front, the little one would go on the rear.
But it's about pressure.
Just the opposite. It's all about velocity and pressure.
Hamilton, Marlin, Craven, Kenseth. And there's Jeff Gordon battling with Jeff Burton for 8th place.
And now's when you have to be, this is when you have to be patient. When you have a car capable of being up front, capable of leading the race, but you're marred back here in traffic, don't beat the car all up, take your time. We'll get you back up there at the end of the day.
And all this started back of almost 100 laps ago. Remember, Gordon, our pole sitter, Jeff Burton in the 99 started 3rd. These guys got a little bit off sync on the pits, and they've been fighting their way back ever since. Look at this mess right here coming down the front.
Yeah, and Mark Martin out here on the outside. I mean, you know, he started back up in the front on the restart, but man, he is going backwards a big time.
Rick Mast just ahead of the...
I believe there's something wrong with Mark's car. It sound, if that was his car we were listening to, almost sounded like it was had an intermittent miss in it.
Hi, buddy, still there.
Darrell, he was one of the cars that laid that low gear up in that rear end this morning. Jimmy Finnick told me, look, we're starting so far back, we're going to be working traffic all day. A lot of gear here for Martinsville 650.
They will, these engines will not take that. I know a 33 is stretching the limit. Anything above that, buddy, I just don't see how it can happen.
Tony Stewart, the Home Depot Pontiac battling the Bud Chevy of Dale Earnhardt Jr.
And that is not a big picture racer.
No.
A big picture racer would pull the 33 because he wants to finish.
This race here for 13th place.
When I look at Dale Earnhardt Jr. in A car, this is the same car that he run here both races last year. And he's got a lot of damage right there on the right rear. He's been scrubbing that wall, but he run this car here both races last year. Wrecked both races. In October, he even hit a wrecker sitting on the backstretch pits. And the 3rd time he brought the caution out, Dale Earnhardt Sr., he come on the radio and said, Richard, was that boy brought that caution out again? Richard said, 10-4, Dale. Dale said, tell them boys to park that car. Richard said, Dale, I don't think you'll have to worry about him anymore.
He about left this joint down here in turn 1. I mean, he went airborne into the outside guardrail, or outside wall there. Man, big impact. Yeah, he's had some pretty good contact with that right rear, but he gets a little tail happy up off the corner. He slapped that rear end against the wall off of 2 or 4 here.
He's in 14th place. Dick Berggren?
I just talked to Sean Parker. He's the car chief for Mark Martin, and I asked him what was wrong. Parker said something in the motor. They're not sure what it is, but the engine has laid down.
Sterling Marlin may get a chance to lead this race. Bobby Hamilton may make good on his promise now that, as Darrell, just as you called it, now that they've gotten away from the field.
Yeah, there's nobody challenging Bobby or Sterling, either one. 32's back pretty good ways. Just going up there and lead you a lap, buddy. Get you 5 points.
Sterling Marlin, like Mark Martin, leading this lap. They are the only 2 drivers that now has led in all 8 races. That's a lot of bonus points. 8 times 5, that's 40 bonus points. That can really add up at the end of the season when they tally those points up.
Kenny Wallace, who wrecked early, is back on the racetrack. Here's a look at your front 5 as we go to break. This is NASCAR on Fox. Fox Sports Net. Sterling Marlin leading Bobby Hamilton and Matt Kenseth. Here are 2 of the Petty cars out of the race, Buckshot Jones and Kyle Petty. Kyle's car damaged in that accident at lap 112 that turned Michael Waltrip around, and Buckshot Jones has had his share of misfortune, as has the third Petty car here, number 43, John Andretti.
Yeah, he's wounded. He's just out there riding around. He's several laps down, and not a good day for the Petties. That's what I was going to tell you. The drivers might tell you they're having fun here, kind of beating and banging and showing, oh, this is fun racing. But you know who's paying for it? Poor old car owner. He brought his nice, pretty nice, fancy car in here, and they take it home beat up. You can call it home in a basket.
How about the poor old fabricator Monday morning at the shop?
They're the ones that's really going, oh, no. I may not be home for dinner any this week, honey. Boy, this is a battle right here for the 7th position. Rusty Wallace in the 2, Jeff Gordon in the 24. Started the top 3 positions. Jeff Burton in the 99. These guys trying to get back to the front. Here, 193 laps into this thing.
And Dale Jarrett's just lurking right in there behind them. So that's our leaders early on, just trying to get themselves back in position.
Wallace has led 58 laps today. Jeff Gordon has yet to lead. Same for Jeff Burton, Matt.
Well, Mike, this morning in the garage area, there was more speculation, controversy, rumors about who was running what for rear end gear than the second shooter on the grassy knoll. Apparently, Frank Stoddard, a little more conservative with his choice. He went to 633, but if you're the 21 car and the Wood brothers, they went with the 650. You had to be concerned about what happened with Mark Martin. This is the second straight race the Roush guys are under a new engine program. They've had to redesign some parts due to some early season engine failures, so not a good sign this early on.
Everyone concerned here, not so much because of the RPM, but isn't it the differential between your highest and lowest RPM every lap?
Well, the driver has to have the discipline to back off. They put a rev limiter in there, a chip in the distributor box to cut the engine off, but you've got to look at that tack every lap. And you got to get a rhythm going, and you got to start backing off of that thing, even if it means getting past.
Dale Jarrett trying to make that pass on Jeff Burton. Not that time.
Those 3 are going at it pretty hard right there. That's pretty aggressive racing at 200 laps into the race. Burton moved up and opened the door.
And in 2 weeks, we go from the tightest track in NASCAR to the wide open spaces of Talladega.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens at Talladega. I mean, there's been so much controversy and so much talk about Talladega.
We'll probably see 30, 40, 45 lead changes, and that'll be at the start-finish line. Only know how many lead changes there'll be around the racetrack.
Yeah, at Daytona, it's always hollering about 3 wide. Talladega hollering about 4 wide. But Talladega was built to run 200 mile an hour on. Daytona, what? Big difference. Well, here we go. You can see that you have to really tug hard on that steering wheel here. You got it. It's not that the car is pushing that much. No, I need some fresh air. He's trying to get a little air. But you know what happens when you open that shield up? You realize that fresh air is not there. It's nothing but hot air coming up off that engine. So you close it right back down. But how far he's turning the wheel around to the left there is not because the car is bad. It just takes that much effort, and you have to pull it that far to get it to turn.
A spin in turn 4. Jerry Nadeau has spun at the crossover, and that'll bring out caution for the 6th time today.
Oh, no. Man, he rolled back just a little bit, and it really had everybody confused as to which way to go. The spot can hear the spotters now. Go high, go, no, go, no. I don't see any damage to the car.
Spotters. They get a little relief here under caution.
Yeah, look out. Here we go. I'll get me a drink of water now.
Ron Thiel getting a drink of water there.
Yeah,
Jeff
go into the cooler. Get me a little drink of water here now, boys. Woo, I needed a break. I'm going to go to the bathroom. I'll be right back.
Well, you know, they're under a lot of stress, same as the drivers. That's the only break they get is when there's a caution.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
But all our leaders on pit road, I mean, a team sport. You got spotters, you got these pit crews, you got drivers, you got fabricators. I can't stress this is a team sport. It's a team sport.
Dick?
Kevin LePage is in right now. He's going to take 4 tires on this car. David Ift, his crew chief, the veteran. They are around to the left side. This is the best thing that could possibly happen to LePage. McReynolds is right. He's job hunting. Come at.
4 tire stop for Sterling Marlin. They made an air pressure adjustment. He was a little bit loose to Steve.
Bobby Hamilton's going to stop. They will make no adjustments to that car. Just 4 tires. The crew chief, Jimmy Elledge, on the front tires. Jason Sheets on the rear. Jerry Painter's the jack man. 4 tires for Bobby Hamilton. They love it.
And at the other end of pit road, Rusty Wallace came out right into the left rear corner of Dale Jarrett.
Boy, he did. He knocked the fire out of him.
It is so congested going down into turn 1 on pit road here. Have a look.
Here we go. He's going to come out of there, and he's, bam, man. He's trying to get in there. It's not enough room there, Russell.
And what we got to remember, this pit road is wider than it's ever been. It's been widened by about the width of a car. You can imagine what it was like before, and it's still tight.
Oh, yeah, and the turn, going around the curve is what makes it so bad.
Yeah, this track just is not big enough to allow all the cars to pit in a straight line.
What a great feeling when you have that good pit stop.
One happy crew. We'll be back to Martinsville in a moment. This is NASCAR on Fox. Our aerial coverage today provided by the Monster.com blimp. The Trump is one of 2 blimps they have in the U.S. It's 165 feet long, 55 feet tall. When it's empty, it weighs over 5,500 pounds. Goes down the straightaway real well, but forget turn 1. Now here's that close call after the Nadu spin.
Yeah, he's rolling back there, you know, and it's just causing everybody the spotters don't know what to tell their driver.
That was our 1st and 2nd place car. We're back racing.
Ron Hornaday steps out with the lead from Joe Nemechek. Jeff Gordon, Bobby Hamilton, Sterling Marlin, and Matt Kenseth, the top half dozen.
Now Gordon only took 2 tires that time, and Rusty took 4, so Gordon wants to get back out front. I think he's tired of riding back there 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th where he's been.
Tony Stewart had a problem on his pit stop. He came in 12th, came out 23rd. Now Jeff Gordon went in 8th, and he was the first to come out of the pits among the drivers who pitted on this caution.
I think that was a good call on their part. It gets him back up to the front. It's just using up so much race car right now if you're back in the pack. You got to get to a place where you can get in clean air and do a little riding right now. Well, got Terry Labonte up high in turn 2 there. He saved her, though.
No consequence, no caution.
Mike Wallace in the 7 car, he was back on pit road right after that restart.
Yeah, a lot of guys that had trouble early have gone into the garage and whooped some new fenders on them and brought them back out, or took off the old ones and just came out with no fenders.
Ron Hornaday leading in only the 2nd race of his Winston Cup career that he has led. Phoenix 1994 was the first. He is the leading leader and, of course, leading rookie of the race. The rest of the rookies struggling today.
Andy Houston in the 96 car right there. He's running in the 25th position, trying to get that lap back. We still have 24 cars on the lead lap.
And we're not halfway yet in trouble down. Big wreck down here in turn 4.
Bobby Labonte, Mike Skinner.
Bobby Labonte went around. Don't really think.
A lot of damage on the front of Brett Bodine, the 11 car.
Andy Houston trying to get a lap back from Hornaday as they come to the caution.
And they got a split, Brett Bodine.
And he did it.
Boy, good thing Brett Bodine got going.
Jerry Nadeau may also have gotten a lap back from his Hendrick Motorsports teammate, Gordon, but not from the race leader. Well, maybe. We'll double check that. No, he's falling back in line.
No, nope. He didn't make it.
Didn't make it. Entering turn 3.
See a little bump from Kenny Schrader on the back of Mike Skinner. This is in turn 3 and 4.
He seems to be a little irritated with Skinner for some reason.
And he turned Mike Skinner around. Bobby Labonte nowhere to go. Mike Skinner spins to the inside. Bobby Labonte right there.
And Jimmy Spencer.
And who got the worst of it? Poor Brett Bodine.
Brett Bodine, who had nothing to do with it. And I don't think the 18 car got much damage at all.
Pit stops. Dick Berggren.
Ron Hornaday pits out of the lead. He had over 80 laps on those tires. He asked for 4 fresh tires and 2 bottles of water, not just 1. It is very, very hot today, and we are hearing an increasing number of drivers call for various things to try and cool them off. Hornaday, the latest.
I tell you, I have had to crawl out of this joint many, many times. This place, now, a lot of people wouldn't realize it, but this is one of the most physically demanding tracks that we go to.
But everything creates so much heat. The brakes create heat. The gear creates heat. The racetrack has heat. Everything is working in the form of just heating everything up.
Including tempers.
Yes. And they are flaring.
7th caution flag of the day at mean old Martinsville. We'll be right back with more NASCAR on Fox after this.
Every business can use extra help now and then. The real challenge is finding workers you can trust to do the job. With Labor Ready, you get the kind of help you need when you need it, even an hour before. Today alone, Labor Ready placed thousands of workers in hundreds of industries, from construction to catering. You can find good help these days. Labor Ready. Dependable temporary labor.
It's about moving forward and not looking back. It's about designing the next generation of lawn tractors that not only cuts your lawn, but cuts it faster. Introducing the John Deere SST lawn tractor with spin steer technology. The only one to come with the technology to spin in place just by turning the wheel. The technology is so advanced, it actually cuts time.
Here's something your car can actually use. The Fram X2 oil filter uses revolutionary triad fiber technology to trap up to 70% more dirt than any leading filter, giving you 7,000 miles of peak performance. It's just something you gotta have.
NASCAR Winston Cup Racing from Martinsville on Fox is brought to you by Fram. Pay a little more now or pay a lot later. By John Deere. Nothing runs like a deer. By new Haviland motor oil technology, formulated for improved gas mileage. Add more life to your car. And by Sears, the good life at a great price, guaranteed.
Green flag is back out. Jerry Nadeau, tail end of the lead lap, is out at the front of the pack.
Elliott Sadler, 21, he's on the tail end of the lead lap. Steve Park, he's trying to get one of his 2 laps back from our leader, Jeff Gordon. Finally, 219 laps, he finally made it back to the front of this field. But Bobby Hamilton in that 55 car, he wants the lead.
Ricky Rudd trying to move back up after getting back on the lead lap.
DW, I like your pick more and more. He's in 10th position, was 2 laps down with that brake line problem. Back on the lead lap, back up there fighting again.
The car really, I've been watching him all day long, and the car just gets in the corner so good.
For the lead, Bobby Hamilton against Jeff Gordon.
Well, Gordon got pushed up out of the groove, and it's opened the door for lots of people to go by. And he only took 2 tires on his last stop.
Clear all around.
He'll be all right now. He can get back down on the inside. Should be fine.
Mentioned Kenny Wallace, Buckshot Jones, and Kevin Harvick, and John Andretti back in the race. Steve?
And we've got Jimmy Ellis and crew chief. You guys had a great pit stop, and you've taken the lead. Can you win this race, Jimmy?
Well, I think so, but, you know, it's going to be who has the best strategy at the end. You know, we put on 4 tires there early and got back in the back, and we just couldn't do anything. So we kind of taken a little different approach, and now we're racing on gas mileage, and that's probably hard to believe here at Martinsville. So I think we're going to be close to making it on one more stop. We're just going to try to go to that window, open some pit, and see what happens.
Let's go, Dick Bergeron.
Ron Hornaday went from 1st to 21st on that pit stop, and part of the reason was it was a long stop. His radio had become unhooked. They had to hook it back up. What that also means is that the crew did not know what they were supposed to do to the car to properly adjust it, so they just fired 4 at it. To Matt.
Well, Dick, Matt Kenton is very comfortable with his number 17 car. No change on that last pit stop, just 4 tires and fuel. The only thing Matt took on, 2 big bottles of water, very hot temperature down here, one of the hottest races we've had this year. Also, Sterling Marlin, 2 bags of ice inside his car. He's also very hot. He's also hot temperature-wise because he's having trouble getting around the 15 car with the lap down.
As we said, every moving part radiates heat. And Darrell, it's not like you're wearing gym trunks or swim trunks in there to shed off heat, sweat either.
No, you've got protective underwear on, flame-resistant underwear. You've got your gloves. You've got a full-face helmet. You're sitting in an aluminum seat that generates a lot of heat. Inside that race car, it's 150 degrees. It takes a real man to hang in here all day.
Well, the sun's out. There's not a cloud in the sky. Just look how much the track temperature that on the asphalt, which is on the straightaway, has went up, 21 degrees. On the concrete, it's went up 20 degrees. And the air temperature continues to go up. And as you said, inside those race cars, that temperature is going up.
One thing that I like, I have complained for years about how come we can run, we got a 22-gallon fuel cell, and we can't run but 50, 60 laps on a set of tires. Now, when I won all the races I won, tire management was not a big problem because you never changed them. You worked on fuel mileage. Who could stay out there and who needed to come in and get fuel? This is back like it was in the old days, guys, when you had to think about everything. Fuel management, tire management, take care of the car, stay on the racetrack and out of the pits.
How about this for you, Darrell, from Johnny Benson back at the battling Tony Stewart and Dale Earnhardt Jr.
That's a couple of good ones right there now. They'll take a little and give a little.
We're hearing it's 86 degrees air temperature. The heat index has got to be outside over 100 degrees.
When you talk about trading paint, there it was, Stewart and Earnhardt.
One of the things that they haven't had to deal with in the pits this year is taking care of the mule. I told my guys all the time, y'all need to take care of the old mule in here, or you're going to burn him down. He won't be able to get the job done for you.
Speaking of mule, we almost can't tell what number it is except for looking at the roof. Jimmy Spencer in that 26 car, he's up there as well.
That's a bull. Ain't no mule there. That's a bull.
Minus a lot of sheet mail. Yeah, bull in a china shop.
Oh, that's cosmetic damage.
As long as the four wheels is
still rolling, that's all he cares.
Third place, Sterling Marlin trying to hold off Jeff Burton. Trouble turn 2. Joe Nemechek has spun around and will stay green. He gets going, and so does Rick Mast, who was caught up in that.
Sometimes it just seems so unfair to me.
And it's trouble for Mast.
I guess Mast is going to come to the pits.
But we'll stay green.
When a car spins like that, or a couple of cars spins and there's smoke, the spotters hollers there's trouble in turn 2. You naturally slow down, and sometimes it can cost you lots of positions.
Just a quick update on cars that we've seen go in the garage area. Brett Bodine's in there making repairs. Kyle Petty, Buckshot Jones, and Todd Bodine are the only cars that has loaded up. Kevin Harvick in the 29, he's back out there. Kurt Busch in the 97, and Kenny Wallace in the 27 car, all are back on the racetrack. We're running right now with about 39 or 40 cars here at almost halfway.
And Rick Mast is taking his car into the garage area, or at least he's trying to. So I'm had a mechanical failure on that car.
Kevin Harvick in the 29 here. You see him right here. All the front end gone. That don't hurt a race car here. Even though he's a lot of laps down, they've got the radiator. They got it bungee cord up there in the front. So they're back out there running around.
Yeah, but Larry, leading with your radiator has got to be like going in a prize fight leading with your nose.
Especially that many laps down.
Look at that 4 car now. That wasn't too long ago. That thing looked perfect. Now look at it. Holy cow. Here you go, down in the corner. Everything looks good. Car's in good shape. Oops. Gets under Schrader. Gets under. I mean, when I said he got under him, that time he really got under him. And Schrader just bloodied his nose.
Well, the rest of that damage happened between those same 2 cars about 20 laps before, so it was kind of a right back at you.
Yeah, this is kind of like ragtag racing.
All the fabricators at home, it's going to be a long week, guys.
Glad you got a week off.
237 laps complete. Bobby Hamilton leads at Martinsville. This is NASCAR on Fox. To Nashville, the NASCAR Busch Series inaugurates the concrete Nashville Super Speedway. You'll see it on FX, 12:30 Eastern Time for the NASCAR Busch Series. Then we'll go to Talladega when Subway presents NASCAR Winston Cup racing on Fox April 22nd, 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time on NASCAR's most competitive track, all on the Fox Network, your new home for NASCAR. 245 laps complete, 5 from halfway. Bobby Hamilton continues to lead Jeff Gordon and Sterling Marlin This battle, though, for third place with Marlin, Jarrett, and Burton.
And the thing about it, we talk about how hot it is out there right now and how the drivers are complaining a little bit. If this thing stays green for a long time, that makes it even worse because you get no relief. And you keep wanting to know, when's our next stop? When's our next stop? Well, we're not going to stop for anything but fuel. How about tires? Going to come in and get some tires?
Well, we've talked about strategy. You heard Jimmy Elledge talk about it. We showed at the beginning of the show about 140, 50 laps on fuel. I told a lot of crew chiefs this morning, if I was still a crew chief and we get to about lap 375 and I get tires and fuel in my car, I'm going to send my equipment back to the truck where I won't be tempted to pit again.
Right.
I won't give up that track position.
See, the thing that people at home, just understand one thing. All these guys are on a pretty serious workout program. All of them are pretty conscious about keeping themselves in great shape right now because of days just like this. So when you talk about these guys not being athletes, I challenge anybody in any other sport to come and try this one time.
Because that 150 laps under green, that's 300 straightaways and 300 corners and 300 pushes on the brake pedal.
And with no water, no ice, no towels or anything to cool you off, and no timeouts, no anything.
No halftime.
No halftime.
No seventh inning stretch.
Nope.
And there aren't many sports where they run this close.
See how far back up on the straightaway that Dale Jarrett backs off that throttle. You want to let that thing roll down there, a little bit of brake, off the brake. Let it roll through the middle, then get back to the throttle.
Problem for Robert Presley coming out of turn 2. Presley woed up, and he's going to come to pit road very slowly.
Rusty's looming back behind that trio going there, but there he goes. Just went around Casey. And not too far behind Rusty, looming back there, is the 28 car, who is doing a great job of catching himself back up.
We saw Robert Presley go straight to the garage. We believe he has lost an engine.
It's a battle for 7th right here. Ricky Rudd, Matt Kenseth lets him go by on the inside. Don't fight him. Let him take the position.
The only way you can hold somebody off when they got to run on you like that is to challenge them into the corner, and you got to use a lot of brake. And right now, you need to be saving brake.
Ricky Rudd, I'm going to say he used 100% of his race car to get by Matt Kenseth. But I'm sure what Michael McSwain, his crew chief, told him once he cleared Matt Kenseth, let the thing rest a little bit. Lay off the brake a little bit. Float that thing out in the corner. Let's get everything cool.
So it's Hamilton, Gordon, Marlin, Jarrett, Burton, and Rusty Wallace in 6th position.
And Rusty's closing down on these guys. He's a little quicker than they are by a couple of tenths. So he's got Clear sailing ahead of him. He'll be right there joining that little battle just in a moment. Gordon only took 2 tires. Now Rusty took 4 on the last stop. So Rusty could have somewhat of an advantage if it stays green for a while. That's how he got so far back. That's why he's trying to chase these guys down.
Boy, Jarrett trying to get a look up there on the outside. Did he touch the wall?
Looked like he almost run out of racetrack up there. He's working that high side, though, coming off the corner.
Well, that's the problem you have. You can be so much faster. Rusty's a lot faster than these guys is on the clock. But when you get up there, just finding the opening.
Right there, he got up to the high side. He just couldn't get a bite. There's not as much grip up there in that second groove on the exit of the corner.
And he opened the door for Jeff Burton underneath.
Yeah, and what he's really saying to Jeff Burton right now is, hey, man, didn't you see I was trying to make a pass? Cut me some slack and let me get back down in line.
Problem is, Jeff Burton did see it.
Yeah, so that's why I'm up here, buddy. Right. That's why I got under you.
And Rusty in the 2 car, he's trying to get there while Jeff Burton's opening that door where he can take advantage of it, too. We got a pass right here for the 2nd position. Sterling Marlin in the 40 car.
He goes underneath Jeff Gordon, and Burton may get the good advantage here. Nope, that hole closes up. Burton still battles Jarrett into the corner.
2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th position. Right here, you can throw a blanket over him, and we're 8 laps past halfway, 258 laps.
Larry, let's don't put no blanket on. It's a little warm today.
A little bit warm today.
Well, you won't see Bobby Hamilton back in that shot because he's opened up 1.3 seconds on this group.
Yeah, he's just enjoying himself. He is having a nice Sunday ride.
Jarrett going after Gordon on the outside. Burton coming along, and Wallace too.
Well, this is when the spotter tells you, hey, let these guys go. You're not gonna. There's a big gap behind the 2 car. Once the 2 car clears you, you're good to go. So don't worry about it.
talked a lot about tire management. Dick Berggren.
And we've talked a lot about 2 tires versus 4 tires. Goodyear technician Billy Hodges has taken a look at both yesterday's trucks race and also what's going on here today. And he has concluded that the team could probably go 250 laps on left side tires without a real speed decrement. To Steve.
Dick, Tony Stewart's running in the 12th position. He's described his car as having good forward bite, but he doesn't have enough side bite. Car doesn't want to turn in the center of the corners.
That's what you fight here, trying to make it turn and still have that bite up off the corner. It's kind of hard to get both.
And side bite, the way I've always interpreted it, it's when you're down in the middle of the corner, the car's taking a set, you want to feel that thing roll over and bite in the racetrack. You want to feel like it's in the racetrack and not sitting way up on top of the racetrack.
It's a grip thing.
Bobby Hamilton's lead has been cut to half a second. You see Sterling Marlin, the silver car, running him down. And we're just past halfway. We'll be back with more Winston Cup racing from Martinsville on Fox after this.
It is brought to you by Subway, showing the world how great a fresh sandwich can taste. Subway, eat fresh.
Mark Martin has taken a hard hit into the turn 3 wall.
I was looking right at it. Something happened to the car as he went down in the 3rd turn. It snapped around on him as if cut a tire down or something broke. No brakes. I'm not sure what it was, but something caused the car to take just an incredibly fast turnaround. And that's a hard lick up against that outside retaining wall, driver's side.
And the Pfizer number 6 may be finished for the day.
Yeah,
you see Mark is moving around inside the car. And caution, of course, is out. 8th caution of the day.
Our leader of the 55 car, Bobby Hamilton, stayed out. Looks like everybody else has come to pit road.
Matt?
And a 40 car makes its way to the pit box. Sterling Marlin complaining his car is a little bit tight. They were talking about what to do, maybe air pressure, and that's what they've done. You can see Sterling threw out the one ice bag they gave to him on the last stop. Tony Santanacola has another one just in his hand in case Sterling does call for more, and he's down and away to Dick.
In a cloud of brake dust, Dale Jarrett has come in to change 4 tires on his car. He said it's a bit loose, and so they're going to try to adjust it with tire pressure. Nice stop to Steve.
Jeff Gordon is in. They made an adjustment on the right side, a round and a half down on the track bar, and 4 tires for Jeff Gordon. Left side tires going on now, and Gordon is off and away pit road.
Everyone except Hamilton, it appears, on the lead lap.
Well, I think
just about came in.
I think you can roll those dice a couple of times, but I don't know if I'd roll them this long or not. This is an excellent opportunity to come in, get 4 tires, and make it to the end. So I think he's stretching it just a little bit.
They're the loneliest guys on pit road, Bobby Hamilton's crew and Dale Jarrett's crew. We're under caution at Martinsville. This is NASCAR on Fox.
Get inside the live racing action with RaceCast. Any driver, every lap. Only at NASCAR.com. America Online keyword NASCAR.
When you live out as far as he did, chances are you're not near one of our stores. Unless, of course, you're near a computer. He knew the jacket he wanted and the color. And then got shoes, a tie, and a belt. Because after 40 years of marriage, well, he knew it'd be hard to surprise her. But at least, he thought, it'd be worth a try.
Now as close as your computer, the Men's Warehouse.
You're gonna like the way you look. I guarantee it.
It just looked like I was kissing her. Brought me in, baby, what are you doing? Come on, baby. I can explain. I don't even, these aren't mine. Whose are these?
Just in case you find yourself needing a little extra room, Ford Focus has more cargo space than anything else in its class. And right now, get a Ford Focus starting at $12,970.
Okay. All right, it's not what you think. Oh, thanks a lot, man.
Visit your Tri-State Quality Ford store today.
Oh, baby, come on.
There's a new universe of fun and excitement waiting for you at Universal Orlando Resort. It's 2 amazing theme parks in one great location. Experience the innovative thrills of the new Universal's Islands of Adventure, Orlando's next-generation theme park. Right next door, you can ride the movies at Universal Studios Movie Theme Park. Call now for your free video to learn about no line, no wait ride access. Imagine not having to wait in line for your favorite rides and attractions. Best of all, you can stay just a short walk away at Universal Orlando's spectacular hotels. The luxurious Portofino Bay Hotel with its Mediterranean charm. Or the new Hard Rock Hotel, the coolest hotel on earth. Guests at both hotels enjoy no line, no wait ride access at both parks. Call 888-353-7605 for your free vacation planning video or pick one up at your local Liberty Travel store where you can plan your Universal Orlando vacation. 888-353-7605.
Watch Seinfeld at 11 p.m. tonight, only on Fox 5.
Welcome back to Martinsville. Our 8th caution flag going into lap 275. Earlier in the race, rookie Andy Houston and then Kenny Wallace.
He gets caught up in a little accident right there.
Rusty Wallace led the most of the first 40 laps and had a little spin out.
Yep. That's Martinsville right there. Little Mike goes around. Kenny Schrader involved in that accident. Mike Skinner.
A lot of cars beat up, and look at Kevin Harvick. Talk about a bad nose job. It's a half track, maybe half car. He could hang in there. Currently, Bobby Hamilton Jr. is leading, but Mark Martin, who had the most recent mishap, is not speaking in the Viagra car, but he did walk away from his accident. Let's go down to Matt Yoakum for more.
Well, Chris, Mark Martin is going to head on to the infield care center, debrief his inner south, try to cool off after what happened. He said the left rear tire went down on the 6 car earlier. They were talking about a missed problem on that number 6 car. Apparently, the battery was starting to die. They're thinking that's what the problem was. To Steve.
Well, Matt, the 99, their strategy has been they have taken 4 tires on every stop. They did it this past time. Add a little bit wedge. Let's go to Dick Berggren.
Well, this little device is what the crew chiefs call the chip. It plugs into the control box for the ignition system. This one is 9,400. That's 9,400 RPM. It'll shut the engine down at that RPM. Some of the drivers insist on having that so the engine doesn't blow up. Others, like Rusty Wallace, just kind of lift at the end of the straightaway, keep their fingers crossed, and hope.
All right, thanks, Dick. Sometimes the smallest detail can become the biggest problem. Over 85,000 here at Martinsville, seeing a heck of a race. A lot of bumping and grinding going on. Bobby Hamilton, an 18-1 long shot when the race started. He was our Jeff Hammond's pick. He has the lead right now over Jeff Burton, and we have Sterling Marlin third as we go through lap 275. What should we get ready for over these next couple hundred laps?
Well, as we get on a little bit further, starting right now, it's going to get worse instead of getting better.
You mean as far as the collisions?
As far as the collision is concerned, because these guys got to have track position. Everybody understands right now track position is so important, so important. And if you don't get that, and that's the reason why Bobby's guys stayed out. I'm not too sure I agree with this strategy right now. I know Jimmy was talking about, hey, we're going to try to go gas only and not really worry about it. But I think right now, when the guy from second on that back have all got 4 brand new tires, you may be in trouble.
All right, Dale Jarrett, always successful in new cars, having a new car here. He's currently running 4th and the points leader. He has never won in 29 trips, made his first Winston Cup start at this track. Let's get more. Go upstairs to Mike Joy, Darrell Waltrip, and Larry McReynolds.
Well, Bobby Hamilton has 70 laps on those tires and chose not to pit. Darrell, so far, you've been drive to make the car survive. What now?
Well, I like what I'm seeing. This is racing the way it used to be. These crew chiefs have had it easy, folks, for so long. They all stand in the pits, 4 tires, 4 tires, 4 tires. That's all they knew. Monkey see, monkey do. Today, they got to think a little bit. They got to earn those big bucks, Larry.
But the reason we was changing 4 tires, our driver kept saying, I want 4 tires, I want 4 tires. That's the reason we give him 4 tires.
Let's run them out of fuel.
Wait a minute, DW, I like your pick, though. Ricky Rudd. He's sitting in 6th position, 225 laps to go. He was 2 laps down. He's made both of those laps up.
Got a fast hot rod.
Put me in halfers on your pick.
Yeah, but we could only be about 6 or 8 laps, 6 or 8 cautions away from the finish.
Look, there's why I picked him, fatback.
Michael McSwain is crew
He's
chief.
the man. Look at him. Look at them glasses. Turn around, Mike.
I believe he's been in your sunglasses.
Turn around, fatback. Wave to the crowd.
Well, we have fast hot rods, and then we have Mark Martin's poor car, who, after banging hard into the 3rd turn wall, goes off, we call that hammock style.
Yes, it is.
Between 2 wreckers.
Glad he's okay. Had to head to the infield care center to get checked out.
Dick?
Well, in the pre-race show, Darrell Waltrip was talking about not picking pit number 11. Darrell, you said you didn't like it. There's another good reason to not like it. Pit number 11 is right in front of the opening for the garage, and everybody who is having problems coming in with oil leaking or water leaking is going right through Rusty Waller's pit. And on the last stop, the jackman, Rob Jones, slipped and fell. Rusty went all the way back to 7th spot. They can't get the oil cleaned up. There's so much of it here.
Well, watch your footing there, Dick.
Well, they're working on that. Stay dry. It dries up the oil, but it does make it slick.
Going to have another caution lap or two here at the Martinsville Speedway as cleanup continues from the 8th caution brought out by Mark Martin's crash into the turn 3 wall.
Check this out. Bob here needs a car.
How about a pickup? A black one. With a place for my bike.
Autotrader.com. Over 1.5 million used cars, make it the biggest, best used car site on the planet.
Need a loan?
Oh, yeah. Autotrader.com. Your car is waiting.
Hey, check it out. A totally twisted way to eat pizza.
Yeah, new Twisted Crust Pizza from Pizza Hut. It's breadsticks.
No, it's pizza.
It's both.
Look, go directly to the Twisted Crust and tear off a breadstick.
Dude, what planet are you from? You eat your pizza first and you save your breadsticks till the end.
No, it's breadsticks first, then the free marinara or ranch dipping sauce, then pizza.
You're twisted. Pizza first.
The new Twisted Crust Pizza from Pizza Hut. Breadsticks and pizza together at last.
I got one word for you. Breadsticks.
That's 2 words, Brainiac. Another one of the best pizzas under one roof.
The limited edition Napa NASCAR Heat PC game. You can get it absolutely free when you purchase $25 or more during the Napa Turn Up the Heat sale. Move fast. It's all over April 30th at participating Napa Auto Parts stores and Napa Auto Care Centers. In addition, save big on Autolite, Bosch, or Champion resistor spark plugs, Gunk Engine Bright, or Gunk Foamy Engine Bright, and a lot more at your participating Napa Auto Parts store.
NASCAR Winston Cup Racing from Martinsville on Fox is brought to you by Autotrader.com, the biggest, best used car site on the planet.
Welcome back to Martinsville, where a crowd of well more than 80,000 is here for the Virginia 500. Give Clay Campbell a lot of credit. He held back a few seats, a couple thousand seats in turn 3 to go on sale this morning in the family grandstand where kids could sit for $5 and watch this race. Now, watching races, there are some races coming up on FX at Richmond, the Winston All-Star race, and at Michigan. And if you don't have FX on your cable system, here's a number where we'll try to help. Call 1-800-FX-FX-FX1 and we'll connect you to your local cable company and let them know. It worked in Rockford, Illinois. They got 1,200 petitions and the cable system added FX. So tell them you want your NASCAR. Call 1-800-FX-FX-FX1.
If you want to see a show, folks, you do not, I repeat, do not want to miss the Winston, because that is a weekend in itself. It is an exciting race to be a part of.
It's going to be a fun one. Bill Elliott running on the lead lap in 9th position.
Car 9 running 9th.
Restart lap 284. Here we go. And Marlin almost gets turned around
by Dale Jarrett.
Can't believe everybody got through there, but they did.
Did a great job of hanging on to that thing. Again, the cars are on real low air pressure after a pit stop, so they don't always feel real good to you.
That was a tense moment.
Yeah, that was right in front of the field. That could have been a big mess.
Here's another look at it.
Up on the outside here, I think Sterling got a little bit loose is what happened, and I think he had to pedal the thing a little bit, and Jarrett helped him.
Happened right in front of Jeff Hammond.
That's right, Mike. It's just funny that it happened to Sterling Marlin, because during qualifying on Friday, we were talking about this particular tire, and he was really concerned about restarts, low air pressure, and this hard compound of how the cars would skate around. And that's exactly what looked like happened to his car.
The restarts are always so tense here. Pick up a little trash on the tires, bonsai into that first turn, hadn't got the brakes heated up again. Sometimes it can be big.
Let's see if Jeff Burton can lead for the first time today. What a dismal start to this season he has had until this weekend.
And this is tires, new tires against old tires right here.
Bobby Hamilton's tires with 70 more laps on them than the 99 cars.
Bobby's car just comes up out of the corner so smooth. You see how Burton's car fishtailed a little bit as it come off the concrete onto the asphalt. Bobby Hamilton's car's not doing that. Right around the inside, smooth, accelerate straight.
Caution is out. And there's debris down in turn 1. Ooh, piece of metal debris, and Kenny Schrader just ran right over it. Now, Ricky Rudd, in that incident, restarted 6th. Now he's back to 10th.
He was the real loser in that incident with Sterling Marlin.
Yeah, I don't think he had any damage on his car at all until that. That's not really damage here, but and I think that's where that debris came from. Saw that little bar hanging down in the back there. Oof.
See, Gordon right there in the 24 car, he gained about 3 positions down the backstretch through all this. He was on the high side.
Yeah, it's just a piece of aluminum, but can't run over it.
Let's go to Ricky's pit. Steve?
Mike, and Michael McSwain was just watching the replay. He's talking to Ricky Rudd right now, talking about the damage that he saw in the replay here atop his pit box. He's going to talk to him again, and we'll try and get back with him.
The car's fine. He got no front end damage, just knocked the rear bumper cover in a little bit, so the car's fine. There's no problems. No damage to the car whatsoever. I'd be Rusty's car now. That might be a different story.
Ricky Rudd lost the engine last week at Fort Worth, and it ended his streak of 21 consecutive races without a DNF.
Yeah, you can see Rusty. I guarantee you, Larry, he's got one of those big poke bars laid up in the front of that thing.
Well, we're weight conscious about these race cars, and we want to keep them especially light in the front end, but we have to, here at Martinsville, put old heavy bars up there where they can be beating on each other.
That was Kenny Schrader running through a lot of that debris.
Yeah, that's the...
Andy Houston hit it. Well, now if you're Bobby Hamilton, is your bet made? I mean, you stayed out on that last caution. Do you stay out here?
Well, nobody, you know, the 99 car didn't drive by him.
Nope.
So, boy, look at all that debris out there. Boy, that's what you get into right there. When you're riding around there, if you happen to have to get up into that at all, buddy, I'm telling you, that'll get on your tires, and you think you got 4 flat tires. Let's go down and see what Steve has to say with Fatback.
Yeah, thanks, Daryl. He's finally ready. Michael, what happened on that wreck? Are you okay?
Yeah, we're okay. One of them got loose up there, and they all checked up. He hit one in the back. One hit him in the back. It gave us a little dent there on the right front, but everything's fine. We got a lot of bars in there from Martinsville, so we're okay.
Will you plan on just one more stop, Michael? What's your strategy?
We'll just have to see how the race plays out. If it goes a long run, you just really can't give up these new tires. And then a caution comes out. If it goes short, we'll have to get some tires.
All right, let's go to Matt.
What you're looking at right now is the 40 crew of Sterling Marlin. Sterling's been complaining that his feet and legs are very warm. They're trying to work together some heat shield material so that during the next stop, they can give it to him through the window. He can put it on his feet and legs to try to help his discomfort from the heat. They're going to try to also give him some more ice bags. At one point, Tony Glover said, now don't be complaining about the heat, because when Cuckoo hears that, his father, Cuckoo, he'll make him go on the tobacco field. He says, oh, I don't want any part of that. I'm okay. I'm okay.
See this material here, this was brought to Winston Cup Racing several years ago. It's heat shield material that is used on the space shuttle, and we use it on exhaust pipes, on the floorboard. Anywhere we're trying to direct heat away from that driver, it's used on the floorboard and everywhere else around the driver.
Ambient temperature today around 85 degrees. In cockpit temperature over 120 degrees. Things melting down here at Martinsville. We'll be right back.
I'll tell you what, on race day, you better get it right. On the track, over 130 degrees. We're on lap 295. Bobby Hamilton is your leader at the moment. And there's a bright orange monster over the track today. The Monster.com blimp Trump bringing us these magnificent views from the blue sky. Monster.com, job good, life good. Speaking of a good job, let's go back up to the booth and Mike Joy.
Thanks, Chris. 8 different leaders so far today. Bobby Hamilton has led the most laps, 110. Just about 200 laps to go here at Martinsville. Remember, Hamilton's tires have 70 more laps on them than those of his pursuers, including Jeff Burton, Dale Jarrett, and Sterling Marlin. Here we go.
Yeah, nobody seemed to, jump there and just run by him. So I guess he's He knows what he's doing.
But you know, Mike, you asked the question, had he made his bed? Did he have to lay in it? Yes, boy, we got Michael Waltrip, who's got cars going high and low.
I think that's that car Dale Jr. drove here last year.
Low, clear low.
Yeah, everything accordions after Michael got sideways off turn 2 and he catches it back up. Sorry, go ahead, Larry.
Well, I think even though we had just ran 5 laps, you know, he couldn't go from first to last. There's 22 cars on the lead lap. You couldn't do that to yourself with just 5 more laps on your tires.
Right. If he was going to pit, he should have come in with all the other guys and then let his pit crew get him out in front of him.
Jeff Burton, he's wanting that lead right here. If you can believe it, he has not led a lap all year long in 2001. He's wanted here into turn 1.
The last time Burton led, he won. That was at Phoenix last November.
Well, let me tell you, as we've said over and over again, catching them is one thing, passing them is something else.
Now, a number of cars have gotten solidly back on the lead lap, including Elliott Sadler, Andy Houston. Joe Nemechek with a sticking throttle problem. Bobby Labonte's back up there. Jerry Nadeau all on the lead lap. Remember Tony Stewart struggling earlier. He is now up at 12th position. The number 20, the Home Depot Pontiac.
This is the car that he has ran all 4 of his Martinsville races with. He sat on the pole here in April of '99, won the pole and the race with this car in September 2000, and got his first career win at Richmond in '99 with this car.
His teammate has not fared well this season either. Bobby Labonte, presently in 15th position.
Well, this is the point of the race. We're 300 laps. This is when, if I've got a good race car and I've just been taking care of it, I'm going to start using a little of it. I'm going to turn it up to about 80%, and at the last 100 laps, then I'm going to turn it up to 100%.
Now we're told that Elliott Sadler on the last caution stayed out, did not pit, restarted tail into the lead lap, and then, or 2 cautions ago on the last caution, was one of the cars that picked back up the lap that he had lost. Likewise, Jerry Nadeau.
Boy, Burton's really working on Bobby Hamilton, and I believe if he keeps leaving that bottom open, that Burton will eventually go back.
While these guys are working, how about the 88 car, Dale Jarrett? He's right up there in the middle of them now, to 3rd position.
He's got a fast race car. I mean, he's passed a lot of cars today, and he won't mess with these guys long. I believe he feels the same way I do. It's about time to stand on that thing. Big picture racer. Dale Jarrett, he's the kind of guy that can win a race like this.
Now explain that, Darrell. Big picture racing.
We got 34 races, and this is number 8. This is no time to panic. He's already won 2. He's having a great year. Championship, man. Think championship. Junior Johnson pounded that in our heads from the first lap we run at Daytona until the last lap we ran at Atlanta.
Jarrett having a look on the outside, but nothing there. Dick Berggren.
Since the beginning of this race today, Joe Nemechek has been troubled with a sticking throttle. On that last caution flag, they decided finally that they were going to fix it. He made a total of 4 stops, during which the engine tutor, Darren Schmelfinning, I knew one day I'd have to say that, dove into the car and got right on the throttle pedal with both wrenches and with silicone spray, and they think now they've got it fixed. This is a scary, scary place to have a stuck throttle when brakes are so important and you go into the corners facing that concrete wall.
Not a good day for his teammate suddenly. Ken Schrader was celebrating his 500th Winston Cup start, but cut down a tire, slid up close to the wall, and now limps around to pit road.
Do they make crunchy M&Ms?
Yeah, they do.
Well,
they come in a blue bag.
There's a whole bag of them right there.
Matt?
That right front tire was completely flat on the 36 car of Ken Schrader. They're pulling the sheet metal away. They throw what's left of that tire out of the way, and Kenny's down and away.
Did you say they were pulling the tire away and throwing the sheet metal away?
They'll never do that tomorrow. They said that's throwaway sheet metal.
It sure is. Here's a look at Schrader. Watch the 36.
Down he goes, and up he goes.
See the tire going down right there. Car just will not turn when loses there out of the right front tire.
And again, we have no interliner here, and the brake heat is so critical on that right front tire. That's why occasionally you'll see one of them go down. It usually just bakes the bead right out of the tire.
In Goodyear, it tracks less than a mile in length. We do not run the interliner, that tire within a tire. You just mount the tire tubeless right on the rim like you see right there.
Well, Bobby Hamilton, he's holding these cats off. But I believe that's what he's doing. He's holding them off because I believe they're a little quicker than he is.
A little further back, the battle for 13th and 14th on back.
A couple of Pontiacs there, and I tell you, Ron Hornaday is having a pretty darn good day, and not only that, he's had to work. He hadn't been back to the front for a while, so he's kind of on a march to try to get back up near the lead.
Yeah, Hornaday led 24 laps, but his pit stop put him toward the back, and it's a hard climb back to the front here.
Now we'll see cars start to use that outside a little bit, and the reason for that is because right down in the groove, the longer these cars run, they've been out there long enough for it to happen, rubber buildup gets in that bottom groove, and once that happens, the front end will not stick. It'll just chatter every time it hits those rubber buildups. See that real dark stuff right there? That's rubber. Little piles of rubber stuck to that concrete, and it'll just make the car chatter right across it.
And Darrell, what I've seen here before is in the last 200 laps, it really gets bad. And crews and teams that can make adjustments to compensate for that air pressure, they're the ones that kind of prevail in the last part of this race. It's like it goes through a real big transition the last couple of hundred laps.
That's it, and it's because of that rubber buildup on the racetrack. I've had great cars here. All of a sudden, they start pushing the front end and snapping the rear end loose because they hit those rubber bumps.
In 2 weeks, these cars will look the same. They'll have the same paint jobs, but they'll be all different when we go to Talladega, where aerodynamics are everything, and of course horsepower. 2 weeks from today on Fox. Now, we had seen Ricky Rudd give up a couple of spots. He's back there now in 10th behind Bill Elliott, whose number 9 Dodge remains 9th. Lead change, Burton to the inside, takes it away, and here comes Jarrett with him.
And once that door opened up, I was pretty sure that both those guys were going to go by.
Sterling Marlin in the 40 saying, let me get there before you close that door. I want to get up there too.
Might make it.
Well, he's got to get by. I saw Burton get here right along here last few laps ago, and he couldn't quite make it. It's really hard to handle that bottom. Oh, he's got him this time. Got a good straight shot up out of there. Took the position.
But no room for Marlin.
And all of a sudden, you're going to hear Bobby Hamilton start complaining about, I'm out of tires.
Well, he's sitting there with over 100 laps on his tires. Bobby Hamilton in the 55, he needs a caution flag right now.
It's just like you flip a switch. You're leading, everything's fine. All of a sudden, the car won't cut. All of a sudden, it won't do anything you want it to do. And it's all because the tires are gone.
And Casey Atwood in the 19 car, he's 2 laps down right now.
24.
Yeah, Hamilton's last lap was 0.4 of a second slower than Burton's last lap.
It's like what Bobby could do. As long as he was out front, he could kind of run his pace with those old tires. But once he had to start fighting traffic, that's when the old tires really fought him.
Yes, sir. And there goes Rusty by. And they will continue to go by.
That'll be
once it happens, and it just, you can't ever get it back.
For more on our new leader, Jeff Burton, here's Steve.
When this race restarted after the last caution, Jeff Burton said my car's a little bit tight. His crew chief, Frank Stoddard, coached him through it. He said, just float that car into the center. From the center off, accelerate. Just float it in there nice and easy and help Jeff keep his patience.
See, if you drive off in the corner hard when the track gets slick like it is now, you've got your foot on the brake, and the front tires are trying to lock up. And all the thing will do is slide up in the middle of the corner. You got to get off the gas, let that real low gear and all those RPM slow the car down. Coast into the corner. As soon as it takes a set, you man it.
And one reason he needs to take care of it right now, be smooth, is in about probably somewhere around 10 laps, he's going to be catching the tail end of the field and have to start working that lap traffic.
And you only have that car wide open. You don't have that engine wide open. You're not wide open there. You're not wide open there. You're not wide open until you get right there. Now you're wide open, and now you're off of it, coasting into the turn. Only wide open for a few 100 feet there, and then you're right back off of it.
Let's give you a good idea what all that acceleration sounds like. You can take your surround sound knob and just give it one big old crank. Ricky Rudd. A couple of veterans battling right behind Kevin LePage. That's 8th, 9th, and 10th. The Haviland onboard camera with Rudd.
You know, Bill's quietly having himself a nice afternoon, running in 9th place. Kevin LePage just ahead of him, who's having an outstanding afternoon.
Everyone wondered this morning about the Dodge engines here at Martinsville, their toughest test of the season, partly because of the on-off nature and RPM spread of this track, but also because of the heat. In preseason testing, they had been susceptible to overheating problems, and they were a big question mark. But Marlin and Elliott doing very well.
Yeah, this is like a real good engine test. If you can run 500 laps here, not have any parts break, you got a pretty good piece.
Well, I think we continue to underestimate what the Dodge people have accomplished. They developed a car, they developed a motor, and they have done all this in about a year's time or less. In cooling, Ray Evernham, who mastered a lot of this right there, in cooling in general, cooling of the engine, proper duct work in the nose of the car going to the radiator, that can be 6 months of development in itself.
It really can. The block, how the water flows through the cylinder heads, all those things are very critical to an engine that's going to run 500 miles or 500 laps like we're doing here today.
One of the top Dodge engine builders, Joey Arrington, from right here in Martinsville, Virginia. His dad, Buddy Arrington, a longtime Winston Cup driver. On point is Jeff Burton. In the last 7 races at Martinsville, he has 5 top 5 finishes, including a win in September of 1997. We'll be right back with more NASCAR on Fox.
Show more road. We're gonna get some Asiago cheese.
Scusi?
All right then. Next stop, Scusi. Chop chop, fasto.
Subway introduces 2 new fresh-baked gourmet breads. Delicious Asiago cheese with real Asiago cheese baked on top, and tasty country wheat with rolled oats, poppy seeds, and more. 2 new gourmet breads at Subway.
Stroke, 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 stroke.
Subway. Eat fresh.
Sign here? Sorry, I only have a minute. In so many ways, in so many places, it keeps a million disasters a day from happening. It's like having a life insurance policy you never knew you had. Gotta go. It's plastics. There's my good girl. Plastics make it possible.
Birds do it. Bees do it. Guys with SUVs do it. It's that time of year at Pep Boys. Get free installation of Gabriel Pro Rider Premium Shocks. Fall in love with your car again at Pep Boys.
One night, Wednesday, one network. You pick the winners. Now celebrate with your favorite stars in movies and music with performances by Creed and Ricky Martin. The 2001 Blockbuster Awards at 8/7 Central, Fox Wednesday.
April 16th, tensions mount on an all-new Boston Public.
You're suspended for 1 week.
My parents will kill me.
Then perhaps this is goodbye as well.
One teacher will lose her privacy.
Remember that tape of you showering? I don't believe this.
Another may lose it all.
You don't take the law into your own hands. I didn't do that. You did.
A powerful new Boston Public.
I think I'm done here.
At 8/7 Central, Monday, April 16th on Fox.
Welcome back live in Martinsville. A terrific race at the Virginia 500. Look at the leaderboard, our own leaderboard. Jeff Burton, who is trying to bounce back for Roush Racing. Dale Jarrett, who shot an 84 at Augusta when he played there within the last year. And your current Winston Cup points leader running second. Sterling Marlin third. Rusty Wallace, who has 6 wins on this track, the most of any active driver. And then Jeff Gordon, who is chasing Dale Jarrett for the points lead, entering today 75 points behind the leader. 162 laps to go. We're running green, and it should be a terrific finish. Let's go upstairs to Mike Joy.
Kind of our own version of the Masters here with Jeff Burton running. His nose looks a little under par on that car, but otherwise,
a few bogeys out there.
But when you look at his competitors, his car looks real good.
It's kind of like this track maybe be like, what's that, the 15th hole that gives them so much trouble? I think that's the one that gives them so much trouble.
All of them give me trouble.
Jimmy Spencer battling Ricky Craven there. Now Craven has fallen from the lead lap, but Spencer is the 11th place car. That's the nice looking side, the left side on that number 26.
And he continues to just pound it down in there. You saw him drive down into 3 and take the position there from
yeah, that's the evil side, the right side.
Wow. But really and truly, that's a good-looking car for Jimmy here.
For anybody at Martinsville
and
this
just
late in the race.
Think about this. The day ain't over yet.
Yeah, I was going to say, we got 160 laps to go.
Stewart and Hornaday settling in there in 12th and 13th position as they work past Craven. Dale Earnhardt Jr. next behind them in 14th place in the Bud Chevy number 8.
And a lot of the cars that we saw run so well early in this race are struggling now, and it's all because of setup. You got to anticipate what this place is going to be like at 300, 400, and at the end, because it changes dramatically.
What's it feel for a guy like Bobby Labonte, Darrell? You've had a decent car all day. You've hung around on the lead lap. You've been, you know, holding your own and running well, but you're 15th.
Well, knowing how he drives and knowing the trouble they've had, he's not running that car at 100% yet. I'd say he's going to wait till the last 100 laps or so. Maybe they got to make another stop, and then he'll turn it up a little bit. But he's not the kind of guy that goes out there and tries to lead every lap.
You know, it wasn't that many years ago, DW, just to talk about how close the competition is, and we got some close competition here. This is a battle for 7th. If you could stay on the lead lap, not spin out, not get trapped in the pits, you could finish in the top 5 or 6 here, but now it's a struggle just to finish in the top 15 where the competition is.
I used to tell every rookie that would come and ask me, how do you run this place? You got to just stay out of trouble. Let people go. Don't race anybody. I don't care if you end up 2 or 3 laps down, you'll get a good finish. Because at the end of the day, brakes are going to, some of these guys are still, that are running good, they still got the potential for brake problems. They still got the potential for pit problems. They still got the potential for engine problems. Lots of potential for problems.
Now, we talked about Bobby Hamilton and asked if he'd made his bed. Well, the sheets are must, because he is dropping back now to 8th place and into the clutches of Kevin LePage. He was leading this race not long ago. There's LePage looking, not that time. And you see how Hamilton is losing ground to the leader on those tires that have 70 more laps on them.
9.8 seconds. That's almost a half a lap, and that was leading just a handful of laps ago. They're going around here around 21 seconds. So again, that's almost a half a lap down.
And there's the leader on the back straightaway as that battle comes to the start-finish line. Jeff Burton in traffic. That's Johnny Benson.
And here's
trying to stay on the lead lap.
And Jarrett's all over the back of the 99 car, and that traffic's causing that.
Sterling Marlin in the 40 car. He's about 2 seconds behind.
Now, Benson was another of those cars that was running up near the front, made a lot of changes, and now he's gone a lap down as you look at the relative speeds of these cars.
So you're going down a little straightaway here at Martinsville, 300 laps into this race, 350 laps into this race, and still running over 100 miles an hour as you enter these corners.
Down to high 50s, 56, 57 miles per hour right there in the middle of the corner where you're off the throttle.
Just think about the strain that puts on the drive components, the drive line components, the gears, the engines, and everything to get that car to accelerate like that and then to stop like that.
And what we have here, just to set up the strategy, we've got 149 laps to go. Should we get a caution, I believe everybody will be on pit road. And as I said earlier, after that, pit crews might as well pack their stuff up and go to the truck, Dick Bergeron.
After having suffered with a stuck throttle earlier, Joe Nemechek now is overheated in the car. Robert Presley has arrived at his pit just a moment ago and has been given the nod. Presley has just run full bore back to the garage to get his driving uniform on, just in case. Nemechek wants to finish the race. He's not sure he can.
And we're right now in the longest green flag run we've had today, some 52 laps since the restart.
Now, when you physically get tired and when you get heat exhaustion like that, you can stay out there. You can manage to keep the car on the track, and you can manage to get around the racetrack. But you're going to lose so much time. All you want to do is get out of people's way, move over. When you start doing that, you lose your focus. You need to bring the car in the pit and just let somebody else get in and make up for what you would have lost.
Darrell, I've seen it and seen it here. If a car's leading or working good, old driver can overcome a little fatigue. That old car pushing or loose, it gets hard to stay in that race car.
Oh, yeah.
Matt Kenseth and Ricky Rudd battle. Rudd is, yeah, 6th place.
Yeah, Rudd fell back, you know, on that restart, and he's been working his way slowly back up through there.
Mike Wallace in the 7 car. He's about 7 or 8 laps down. He's working with a new crew chief here this week. Jim Long has moved over to that position for Mike Wallace in the 7.
Yeah, I was just worried that Ricky, trying to make up those 2 laps, may have used up a lot of his race car because he had to do a lot of hard driving to make those 2 laps up.
Well, we talked about Bobby Hamilton leading much of this race, and now Hamilton has fallen back to 10th place. Steve Burns, what's the new strategy?
Well, Mike, the strategy is they're going to need to get him in here pretty quick. In fact, they've already told him to keep an eye on his fuel pressure gauge. It's been a long time since that 55 has been on pit road.
Lap 203, Hamilton was in the pits, so that is 153 laps ago.
He's going to be forced to pit road, I'd say, here within the next 10 laps, and that would work out great for him as long as it can cycle through, and that's a long time to cycle through green flag stops, because if he pits, a caution comes out, boom, he's 3 or 4 laps down.
Well, he's going to be several laps down with a 35-mile-an-hour pit road speed, so he's just about eliminated himself from any chance of winning this race.
There's Burton, your leader, and Jarrett, UPS number 88. Then Sterling Marlin in the 40. Rusty Wallace in the middle light number 2.
Hey, don't count old Russell out. He's back there hustling along and still got a pretty good-looking hot rod. It's not all beat up, so he's still thinking victory lane.
He's about 4.3 seconds behind him. You see here on our Fox tracks behind the leader. He's in the middle of turn 3 and 4. Right now, our leader has just crossed the start-finish line.
He's not really putting a dent in that lead.
And he's got some open racetrack right there for the most part.
So when you want to wait, like I said, you're going to wait till that last 100 laps before you start really panicking or really pushing it.
Darrell, we're 360 laps. What's the car feel like now? What's the brake pedal feel like? What kind of feel do you have in the steering compared to when you start the race?
Well, of course, you're tired and you're hot and you've been out there this long, all afternoon. The car doesn't drive good to you anymore. All of a sudden, where it was a little bit loose, now it's real loose. All of a sudden, where it was pushing a little bit, now it's pushing a whole lot. The brakes, they don't give up that much. You don't really feel it. They'll stay, the pedal will stay up hard right till they get to the metal.
And this is Robert Presley in Joe Nemechek's pits, putting his earplugs in, getting ready to get in that race car so Joe needed him to get in.
The best gauge you got for brakes is your pit crew. When you come in, you ask them, how much brake dust was in the wheels?
Oh.
That's how you find out if you're using too much brake or not.
Leaders have spread just a bit. Dale Jarrett took a little more time getting through some of that race traffic. He's just passing Kurt Busch right there. As pulling down on Stacy Compton comes Jeff Burton. And Compton's had a great race today. He's hung on the lead lap, got lapped, got his lap back. And right now, Stacy Compton runs in about 20th position here. Final car on the lead lap. 137 laps to go. Caution has come out here at Martinsville.
Celebrating by Team Monte Carlo.
Now the first thing you've got to do is jump up here and scream and yell, woo! Make sure your hat guy forms them first, so you don't end up looking like a dork. Now when somebody hands you one of these babies,
change the momentum of game, stir things up a little bit.
Fall and look at it, it was destroyed.
To do when there was 2 sets of eyes, keep an eye on everything.
Yeah, my lips got going a lot more when they went to the 2-man.
With 3 teams racing almost neck and neck, the outcome of the race could be decided here.
Solomon Eco Internet, Solomon Eco Internet, first place, but just over the hill.
What you want.
Internet.
The leaders may be suffering on the hike, but throughout the course, competitors are nursing their wounds. Especially vulnerable are feet.
It's a 500-kilometer race, and the feet tell the story. Abrasions, bruises, and total waterlogged trench foot that you might not see in 10 years. And we've seen it not on one, but on almost every member of every team.
They hurt all over. Absolutely horrible.
But there have been other medical problems, like this one involving leeches and their ability to strike anywhere.
I was just sitting in a river. I felt a bite on the end of my willy,
and noticed a leech disappearing up my urethra. And then I could see it in there. It didn't come out, so it's still in there, and I presume plowing its way up there.
Just to reassure you for a moment, as most leeches do.
The caution flag is out for debris, and it is a huge break for Stacy Compton, who was about to go a lap down, and for Bobby Hamilton, who desperately needed a pit stop.
He was about out of fuel. He needed to come to pit road, so it was a big break for him.
And really, it's a big break for everybody. We've had a long green run there, and it's hot out there right now. Come in and get some 4 fresh tires and a fresh drink of water. It's going to change everything.
Here's how everyone came in for pit stops. Steve?
Bobby Hamilton came in, guys. As you said, he was desperate to get in here for a stop. They put 4 tires on, got gasoline. Jeff Burton, the leader, came in. They put on 4 tires and made a track bar adjustment. They went down around. Let's go to Dick Berggren.
Dale Jarrett came in. He also took 4 tires. They took a round of bite and added it to the left rear corner of the car, but Rusty Wallace had a little bit better pit stop. Took 4 tires and beat him out.
A 15.31 second pit stop for Sterling Marlin, the number 40 car. No adjustments, just 4 tires and fuel. They were about 10 laps inside their window, so now they can go the distance if they need to. The only big thing for Sterling, they handed him 4 bags of ice and a big water bottle to try to help with his discomfort due to the heat.
Bad problems for Mike Wallace, who I believe he had made his pit stop, and then the car just stopped at the exit of turn 2. It's going to get a push around here. Excuse me, he's not made his pit stop. They've been waiting on him with the pit board out to service Wallace. He's going to get a push around.
Okay, we always are talking about teams making adjustments. We talk about them putting wedge in and wedge out. We're going to try to show you what wedge in actually does this race car. Race car comes into pit, 4 tires. The adjustment's going to be made on the left rear. Now look at the red wheels there. That's where the weight's going to be added to the car. Left rear, right rear. Going to cut away the spring right here, screwing down clockwise on the jack boat. It's putting pressure on that spring. It's raising that corner of the car, putting more weight on the left rear and diagonally on the right front, taking weight off the left front and the right rear. That will tighten that race car up if it's loose.
But debris is picked up. Mike Wallace has been pushed around to his pit. And they've got the left side jacked up as if they're working on perhaps transmission linkage. We'll check on that story and more when we come back. Rich, we may have seen the final pit stops of the day.
I believe we may have. We got 20 cars on the lead lap, and I want to talk to my buddy Todd Parrott down there. Had a good race car all day. Todd, you got 4 fresh tires on that thing. We talked a little bit earlier this morning, 125 to go. Can you pack your pit stuff up and send it to the truck?
Yeah. I told him to keep a couple right side tires down here just in case.
Oh, now you're going to be tempted to pit if you keep them there.
Well, you never know what might happen. Might have debris on the racetrack or whatever. I was wondering if there was 2 pros up top there, Darrell Waltrip and Larry McReynolds, could give me a little bit of help down here with 130 laps to go. Darrell, what do you think? 130 laps to go. Needed to tighten that thing up a little bit. What do you think?
You tighten it up all day long here. You know that. This little area out of the right rear, maybe that track bar could have come down a tad, but it's showtime now, bud. Ain't no time to be holding nothing back.
Okay.
Hey, Todd, don't you think Martinsville is doing its normal deal and the racetrack is changing here in the last 100, 150 laps?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You know, we got loose there toward the middle part of the race, and the car seemed to tighten up a little bit right there. So, you know, 130 laps to go here. Man, got some awesome race cars up front there. It ought to be a heck of a race here at the end.
Todd, you got a good race car. Good luck, buddy.
Thank you, man. Y'all guys doing a great job.
Thank you.
They will restart in 4th place behind Jeff Burton, Rusty Wallace, and Sterling Marlin. Behind Jarrett, Jeff Gordon is 5th, Ricky Rudd, Matt Kenseth, Jimmy Spencer, Bill Elliott, and Tony Stewart. The top 10. 20 cars on the lead lap. 1 lap will go back to green next weekend. Nashville Super Speedway gets inaugurated with a NASCAR Busch Series, and that'll be on FX Saturday, 12:30 Eastern Time. And in 2 weeks, we'll be at the fastest speedway on earth. The Subway presents Winston Cup Racing from Talladega, Alabama. on Fox, 12:30 Eastern.
43 cars running in the lead pack all day long.
20 cars are on the lead lap here at Martinsville. We will take the restart with 125 laps to go. The defending champion of this race, Mark Martin, in the garage after a crash with a turn 3 wall. So we'll have a new winner. We're about to get to it. Even the flagman's impatient as he wraps that flag stick on the starter stand. Here we go. We're green.
Really didn't talk about it. The rear winner on pit road, Rusty Wallace in that 2 car. His guys, boy, Johnny Benson gets sideways trying to get in front of Jeff Burton to get that lap back. But Rusty Wallace and his group goes to second after that round of pit stops.
I think Rusty's right where he'd like to be right now. He's got a good car. He's got himself back up front here at the end of the day.
Wallace came into the pits 4th and came out 2nd.
That don't sound like much of a gain. That's a big gain at Martinsville.
And now it's showtime, and you get all the good cars that we talked about all day long. All of them are back at the front, just like we started. And now you use what you've got left. This is when you call in and tell the crew, don't worry about the mule going blind, just load the wagon and hold the line, because we're going racing.
And this is when the crew chief says, driver, you got what you got, stay off that button and focus.
That's right. Work your hands and not your mouth.
Marlin slips inside Benson, whose effort to get his lap back is fruitless at this point.
But a car like Benson, who's got a good race car, he can just hold you up for so many laps and keep you from doing what you need to do.
Now Jarrett has a look inside Benson. Gives him room. Let's see if things have picked up here on fresh tires.
And they've got open racetrack right now. They're pushing 118, 170 miles an hour, getting down in the corner. High 50s in the middle of the corner, so it's up a little bit in the middle of the corner.
But not a lot.
But I think where the speeds gain is they're able to stay in the throttle off the corner, so most of the speed is at the end of the straightaway, where they can stay in the throttle down that straightaway.
Right, you accelerate out. That's what, I mean, you never enter any faster much than normal, but you can accelerate so much harder.
Seeing Steve Park right there in the 1 car, and he's still 1 lap down. We got a report that he was actually fighting the flu this morning, and I'm sure these hot temperatures is not helping that situation.
28 car right there behind Jeff Gordon. He's still got a good race car. If he didn't use up too much of it in the beginning here to get those 2 laps back, still think he's got a good shot.
He's in the 6th position.
Should mention Mike Wallace back in the race. He spent some time on pit road with the left side jacked up, and they were changing the battery. But he's back out there.
We're closing in on 100 to go. We've only got 5 cars that are actually out of this race. Todd Bodine, Kyle Petty, Rick Mass, and Robert Presley. Mark Martin, they're in the garage area, but trying to get that car back out.
And you know, you got to be impressed with that 40 car, Sterling Marlin. Every week that we've been to the track, 8 races, he has been competitive, he's been up front, and he's had a shot to win a couple of them.
And he's the fastest car right now. There you see the 40 car in 3rd, fastest speed.
Let's check this again at the line.
And you see that flagman, you see him waving that layover flag to those lap cars. Boy, you beg, you call your crew chief, you call your spotter, you beg everybody, tell them to get out of my way, I got to go.
Our leader, Jeff Burton, had the fastest speed that time, but Sterling Marlin did have the 2nd fastest.
And he's closing up a little bit, closing the gap between him and Rusty a little bit, too. Rusty seems to be losing ground to Burton.
Darrell, where would you rather have the lap cars run here? Down low or up high in the corner and give you the bottom?
I know people always say let them go high, but they take away your line no matter where you are. If they're up high, they're in your way exiting. If they're down low and they'll stay down low on the straightaway, then you can get by much easier than you can anywhere else. We've argued about that for 25 years in the drivers' meeting. It's better just to move over and get out of the way.
Looking back from 2nd place, Rusty Wallace at Sterling Marlin. 1st, 2nd, 3rd. 4th, Dale Jarrett. Last year, Jeff Burton was the only driver to finish in the top 10 in all 6 short track races. Twice at Bristol, twice here, and twice at Richmond.
I mean, last year this man had an awesome race car. New Hampshire, lots of places where he was just dominant. So the good news about him is he knows he's got the stuff to do it with. He's just got to get it done.
Jeff Gordon just ahead of Ricky Rudd. Gordon, who did not lead a lap at Martinsville last year, and has led 6 laps today. Matt Kenseth, last year's Rookie of the Year, running in 7th behind Ricky Rudd.
He led a little bit earlier in the day.
And Jimmy Spencer in 8th place.
And Jimmy, this is the way he likes his car. They ought to do that to the car before it starts the race. They ought to go around it with a big sledgehammer, beat it up real good, and then he'll drive the wheels off of it.
Say there now.
Yeah, go ahead.
And we keep noticing Bill Elliott, car number 9, in what place?
Probably 9th.
9th place.
He's been in 9th all day long.
See, Elliott started 17th, but he's been 9th most of the day. And right behind him, Tony Stewart, who also struggled early, but has come up to the top 10.
How about our 10th place car? Tony Stewart has only had 1 top 10 finish this year. Finished 4th at Rockingham, worked his way into the top 10. And again, this is a racetrack that seemingly that his style of driving, their package, maybe this is where they can get this thing turned around.
Well, at this point in the race is when Dr. Who is doing his job. Well, he's got to stay off that curve or he'll have a flat tire full on. Dr. Who is the shock man on that car, and the track right now, a good shock package is at a premium.
Dr. Who is Ronnie Crooks.
Yes, he is.
Let's slip back to the 11th place car, which will be Ron Hornaday driving for A.J. Foyt and Mexico Pontiac.
That is a great run. I mean, led the race, started dead last. I mean, here's a man that's done a great job today. My hat's off to Hornaday and that whole team.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. running in 12th place.
And after the run he had here last year, I think he'd be pretty happy if he ended up right there. He's still going. His car looks relatively good shape.
A lot of great comments, Darrell, about the interview that you and Dale Jr. did, most of which aired on Steve Burns' Totally NASCAR this last week.
I was so proud of that. It was really, really an enjoyable thing to do, and he was so gracious and so open, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. And he's a super young man.
Jerry Nadeau, tracking Earnhardt Jr., is the 13th place car. He went down a lap with a spin, fought his way back.
Made that lap back up, back on the lead lap.
And his car looks in really good shape. I mean, not much damage on it at all.
Right behind them is Bobby Labonte, the defending Winston Cup champion, and Labonte is up a spot from when we last saw him. He's now up to 14th position.
Talked to his people this week. Speculation about what happened to the motor at Fort Worth. They broke the connecting rod and even got together with the company that makes the rod. Still have not come up with nothing conclusive to why that rod broke.
Gordon and Jarrett battling as you watch from the Texaco cam on board Ricky Rudd.
Been watching Dale Jarrett in 88 car. He cannot seem to keep his car down. And had it up high right there, gets a little loose off the corner, keeps a little momentum, pulls back in front of Jeff Gordon off into turn 3.
Yeah, Jeff's not real happy with his car, and I don't think he's really fighting the issue right now. I think he'd like to get somewhere where he can just kind of run his own pace.
And Ricky Rudd, the 28 car, he's faster than both of these race cars, but so hard to pass here.
It is.
Gordon's car has been good for 30 or so laps, but as the runs get longer, he seems to drift back a bit.
Well, he's committed to the bottom groove, and I tell you, that outside lane is working pretty good, especially when you're trying to pass somebody.
And we got to go back to a comment that we made. Even though Robbie Loomis, his crew chief, has a lot of experience with this type of chassis, Jeff Gordon has never experienced a 500-lap race with this type of chassis. You know, maybe didn't get exactly what he was looking for a late race run.
Oh, Ricky Rudd just almost took the tail off of Gordon's car getting into the corner there.
Well, he got a run off of 2 over there, and Gordon's going to open the door for him a little bit when he goes by. Well, he goes up beside of him. But I believe that 28 will out accelerate him down that straightaway.
Watch, Darrell, as you said earlier, Rudd's forte has been getting into the corner.
He drives off in the corner, and I tell you, he's got great brakes because he has outbroke everybody that he's raced against today. And that's what he did to Jeff Gordon. He just took it down in there, made it stick.
And Rudd moves up to 5th.
Going after his teammate, Dale Jarrett.
Well, like I said, it's showtime, boys. If there's anything left in your race car, unleash it.
Johnny Benson has gone a lap down, and it could cost him as many as 2 positions in the Winston Cup points. With Marlin and Wallace taking advantage.
Got Rudd up beside of Dale Jarrett now. 2 teammates battling down into turn 3. Rudd's got that bottom line alongside of Jarrett. I think he's going to make the pass.
Well, what I'm impressed with his race car, Darrell, he's driving that thing in deep, and it's sticking, it's turning, it's staying on the bottom of the racetrack. Jeff Gordon going to try to take advantage of this door that Ricky Rudd's opening on Dale Jarrett.
Right now, Ricky Rudd saying, come on, Pard, cut me some slack. I got to go.
Clear.
Here comes Jeff Gordon right up on the back. He's going to make the pass as well.
Whoa. Jarrett got up a little too high.
And he may pay the price here with Gordon.
Like Larry said, that Jarrett's car didn't want to seem to stay on the bottom, so he's trying to work the top side, but it's just difficult to do.
Well, there's 95 laps to go. This is where the crew chief asks the driver, how do you brakes feel? How do you gauges look? We got to go now. It's running out fast. 95 laps at Martinsville is not that many laps.
Ricky Rudd has not led today, but his lap times right now, even in traffic, are dead equal to that of the race leader, Jeff Burton.
Well, I can tell you this. I guess he's got good brakes, and he must not be having any brake problem whatsoever because he is carrying that car off in the corner. Every car he comes up on, he just about knocks the bumper off, getting into your rear bumper off, getting into the corner.
Fastest on that lap, Ron Hornaday and Jimmy Spencer at the line.
But right now, they're in clear traffic, and the leaders are starting to catch traffic. A little deceiving right there, but they still got good race cars.
Flagman waving that flag. Come on, boys, get out of these leaders' ways. Give them some room to race.
Rudd the quickest.
Ricky Rudd had that clear racetrack after clearing his teammate. Dale Jarrett had the fastest speed that time.
And the thing I'm impressed with Rudd, I mean, it doesn't take him, he puts so much distance. As soon as he gets by a guy, he goes off and leaves him.
Right now, he's 3.3 seconds behind the leader, Jeff Burton.
It's going to take him a good 50 laps to chase Burton down, even at the speed he's running.
Well, he's got 3.3 seconds and about 4 or 5 cars in there. Some lead lap cars, some lap traffic.
He's still got to get by Sterling Marlin, and then he's got to get by Rusty Wallace before he gets to Burton.
Steve Burns.
Well, Larry, I don't know if you talked to Frank Stoddard this morning, but I think they're following your strategy. Frank's guys are already loading up the wagons to head to the truck. They got spare transmissions, brake parts, all these different parts and pieces. They're headed for the wagon.
All you need right now is a driver that's focused, a little bit of luck, spotter working hard on top of the roof for you, and driver patience. Catch those lap cars, be patient, get by them. And he's got a lot of lap traffic in front of him. Oh, we got a spin. Mike Wallace, turn 3 and 4.
Right in front of the leaders.
And the caution is out.
Or right in front of the 2 car anyway.
We've run 35 laps. Stay out, stay out, stay out. Especially if you're in the front 9 or 10 cars. Now, if you're at the back of the lead lap, come in, get you 4 tires.
Yeah, and that's what they'll do. Some of the back guys will come in and get tires, but it just hadn't paid off.
11th caution of the day. The record, 17. Let's again see what happened to Mike Wallace. Turn 3.
I think he gets a little poke from somebody. Woo.
They kind of poked each other.
Yeah. Elliott must have eaten too many bologna burgers last night. Damn.
Boy, right in front of Rusty Wallace in the 2 car.
They bammed into each other.
Look at Spencer. He's up there too.
On board, Rusty Wallace.
Oh. Well, I really think this is a good break for Ricky Rudd.
19 cars
had his
on
work
lead
cut
lap.
out to chase down the 99 car. This closes that gap up. And now he's right there with them.
erases that 3.3
And look
second
who's
lead.
coming in.
Dale Jarrett, well, you said it, DW, was not happy with his race car. Jerry Nadeau, the 25 car.
And those two right side tires that Todd said he was saving, I guess he's going to use them.
The back 5 or 6 cars, they're on pit road.
Jarrett will go from 6th to at least 12th or so with this stop, Dick.
Well, looking at his right
Well,
front
it's a bit
tire.
of a surprise that Dale Jarrett has come in for this pit stop. Rusty Wallace was going to follow the 99 in, but they counted how many cars were still on the lead lap. They decided to stay. So DJ is only one of the front cars that did decide to come in and pit, and it's going to be a 4-tire change. He will come out in the back of a long line of people still on the lead lap. To Matt.
Dick, a lot of conversation between Tony Glover and Sterling Marlin. Glover, the team manager on this 40 car, they were talking about what they should do if the leaders come in. Sterling said, I believe I'd like to stay out. Glover says, I think the only car that's better than you is the 28, and your car may be better than his on longer runs. To Steve.
Matt and Jeff Burton left all the pressure up to Frank Stoddard sitting on top of the pit box. They had contemplated coming in and dropping that track bar down half around at the last second. Frank said, stay out. Jeff said, please make that affirmative. He said, yep, stay out. And he said, I'm glad I don't have your job. Let's go to the studio, Chris Myers.
Burton has led 99 laps, so he elects to stay out along with Rusty Wallace. What do you think of the strategy, particularly Dale Jarrett?
Car's not right, Chris. You got to come work on it. If you know you can't win the race, that's what you come here to do. Just like the 99 guys did a year ago in the fall. 99 car lost the race because of pit selection and pitting when they shouldn't. This time they decided to stay out. You got to come get us.
What about the decision with Burton and Wallace? Do they both think they have enough to win?
Track position is everything here. If your car is right, you stay out there and you work with it. We got some good cars still left in there. The 28 car, 2 car, but at the same time, the 88 car is not that good right now. So therefore, he had to work on his car. Several other cars back there, they're gambling that their cars need to be improved upon. 4 tires to make the difference. You still got a lot of racing to go here.
Jeff Burton, the 5th different person to lead their first lap of the season in this race today. And when I spoke with him this morning, and I said, hey, how you doing after having such a terrific season last year? It's been a rough year. He said, I'm fine. Everybody's worried about me. I love my position, particularly, Jeff. He loved it that Rusty Wallace, and I know Darrell questioned him, took that 11 spot in the pits because Burton wanted that second spot. He thought that gave him a good chance to win today.
It definitely did, because everybody's seen all year long the guy who sits on the pole gets that in pit position. He can get out. You beat him across the line. You get a chance to always start back up in front of the other guys. Getting an opportunity behind him is always a good thing.
All right, Jeff Burton had not finished better than 18th in his past 7 races. He is leading right now in the Virginia 500. Let's go back up to the booth.
Well, we talk about using the brakes up. Jeremy Mayfield, remember, he got those laps down early in the race, really had to use that race car. He lost his brakes. He's on pit road. They're trying to cool the engine down as well. Dick Bergman, what are they doing to that car?
Well, just about everything, Larry Mack, and you're right, he did lose his brakes so much so that he tried to park in his pit area to do this pit stop. When he realized he couldn't, he took evasive action, went to the right, and just missed his whole crew. Then he tried to back up, and they had to stop him. Right now, they're working on the right rear corner of the car. They have added brake fluid to it. Upstairs.
Getting set for the restart, Dale Jarrett had to hope. A lot of other lead lap cars came to pit, and 7 of them did. So Jarrett will restart 12th after that pit stop. Burton's the leader. Jeff Burton, Rusty Wallace in second, Sterling Marlin, Ricky Rudd, Jeff Gordon, Jimmy Spencer, Matt Kenseth.
And 82 laps to go.
Rusty dives for the inside and slides up the racetrack.
Not a good move, and comes right back down in front of Sterling Marlin. Boy, Rusty, that is very impatient.
Come on, Rusty, patience. You got to use patience. You still got time.
I think you're looking at a man that is desperate to win a race.
Cost him 2 positions. Rudd went past, and Marlin.
He's not through. He's not through beating and banging yet. He must have had maybe some buildup on his tires, because otherwise he would not be acting that way, I don't think.
But he really looked like he overdrove the corner getting into turn 3. Looked like he wanted to try to catch Jeff Burton sleeping, getting into 3.
Let's see. Here's a replay.
It's going down into turn 3, DW.
Yeah, he just had a good run. He didn't want to get into the back of Burton. Burton moved up a little bit on him.
He had a good run. He
Boy,
just
look at him in there fighting that thing. Man, if he hadn't had cars to bounce off of, he'd have wrecked.
And that gives Burton what for Martinsville is a huge lead.
And let me tell you who else it helped. It helped Ricky Rudd, because he got by 2 cars, otherwise he's going to have to deal with.
It's 1 1.2 seconds behind Jeff Burton. See Jeff Burton right there turning off in the corner. We're looking out of Ricky Rudd's car.
Boy, the lap cars just give you such a hard time. Ricky needs the one car to give him a break right now and let him get in line. Watch him go in that corner harder than he does. But to come back on the outside.
Now Sterling Marlin is staying right with Rudd. Let's not count him out.
Oh, he's got a good car, and they think it's probably a little better than the other guys on the long run. We've got 77 laps to go, so we'll see. This is when the intensity level picks up on everywhere. Driver, crew, spotter, everything. Everybody, the intensity goes up another notch. The problem you got with that, you got a driver out there that's tired, and he's trying to carry the car.
They just told Rudd over the radio he's 5/100ths of a second faster than leader Jeff Burton that lap.
That's not enough. You got to be faster than that if you can get to him, but you're not going to pass him if that's all the faster you are.
Marlin's car looks like a can that's been through the recycler already.
It's crushable. Dispensable.
Repairable. Recyclable.
Recyclable. You got it.
Rudd fastest on that lap, 1.1 seconds. Back of Jeff Burton.
2096.
I just can't. The thing I can't impress on enough is how hard Ricky Rudd can drive into the corner. Now, you saw Rusty drive into the corner hard, and he got out of control. Rudd's been doing that all day.
Now, the last lap, Rudd was 1/10 of a second faster than Burton.
Now we're talking. Now we might be able to make a pass.
But look who's closing, Sterling Marlin in that 40 car. There he is, looking out the back of Ricky Rudd's Havlin car.
Well, the reason that Ricky got around him was when Rusty got all messed up down here in 3 and 4, he got into the side of Sterling, and Rudd was able to slip by both of them on the inside.
But Rudd is still closing, 1.2 seconds behind leader Jeff Burton.
21 flat, good lap.
But remember, there's a lapped car separating them. That's Johnny Benson.
They told Ricky Rudd 21 flat. Jeff Burton is running a 21.08, almost a 10th quicker.
Yeah, I believe that Benson will probably be courteous and let Rudd go.
$70 laps to go when they come by this time. Jeff Burton trying to turn his season around on the short track. We'll be right back. Front straight away a moment ago. Johnny Benson was trying to get his lap back from Jeff Burton. They got together. Ricky Rudd tried to capitalize, and they almost tried to squeeze into turn 1-3 abreast.
Well, I had said that Benson would be courteous and let Rudd go. I didn't know he was going to be courteous and spin out Burton.
Here's a look at it. Benson trying to get back on the lead lap.
Well, he's been working on Burton, and I just said, why didn't he let him go? He's faster.
Oop. Jumped back to that throttle, got in the back of Jeff Burton. Look at Jeff Burton, got his hands full. Ricky Rudd, meanwhile, he says, maybe I can get the lead right here. 3 wide down the front stretch.
This could have been disastrous right here if if Benson hadn't moved over and let Rudd in, it would have been bad.
As it is, they separate out. And here it is from Ricky Rudd's view. He doesn't lose his momentum. Here he comes.
Trying to outbreak these guys getting in the
Ricky said, I like it, I love it, I want some more of it. We got us a good low race here, guys. 99, 28, and a 40. Sterling's trying to get some up to him. He's trying to get enough money to go home and buy him a mule.
Sterling Marlin right there. He's trying to get by Johnny Benson. Now, we've been watching Johnny Benson. He's 20th right now, a lap down, but back on lap 270, they made major changes to that race car. James Ince says, enough. We need to make enough changes, see if we make a difference in this race car. Trying to get back up there on the lead lap.
Didn't pay off for Benson, as now he gets a view of this battle for the lead.
Underneath. Whoa, he closed the door.
And Marlin clears Benson. It'll be a 3-car race here in a matter of minutes.
Now, Ricky Rudd is a fine gentleman, and he will race you as clean as you race him, but don't cut him off very many times like that.
But he's going to search around right here. He's going to try to find where Jeff Burton's weakness is.
I believe Burton's car is getting a little loose getting in now, looks to me like. And Ricky's car just looks perfect. I mean, it accelerates up off a corner. It's just looked good all day long. We got 60 laps to go, guys.
Meanwhile, Dale Jarrett, who restarted 12th, has climbed up to 7th and now battles Jimmy Spencer for 6th.
He's fast, but he's 4 3/4 seconds behind. We got 58 laps to go. He's faster, but he's got a lot of cars in between. Here comes Kansas and Spencer.
Remember, Jarrett has new tires on that last caution flag, and he is the first of the cars in line that did come in for tires.
Yeah, and he was very unhappy with his car, so I told him what to do to it, and I think they did it. Put tires on it, take a little air out of the right rear, drop that track bar down, tighten her up, and go to the front.
He's a straightaway behind the leaders. Here's the leaders. Ricky Rudd, he's wanting that lead right here.
He ruffles Burton's fender just a little bit, and Rudd gets inside.
Now can he pass it? It's hard to get down beside somebody like that. Yeah, they both fishtail a little off the 2. Rudd's got the position. He'll carry it in there. I believe he'll come out of turn 4 with the lead. And here he comes, boogity down the front straightaway, and he leads his first lap of the day.
While these guys are going side by side, though, Sterling Marlin in that 40 car back in 3rd. He's loving what he's seeing. There he is, Sterling Marlin in the 40.
It'll help everybody close up just a bit as the 2 leaders battle. Now Burton to the inside. Repays that little love tap.
And of these 80-something thousand people, both these guys are from Virginia. These people are loving it in the grandstands.
Rudd from Chesapeake, Burton from South Boston.
Well, barring any luck, I believe that Rudd is on his way. He's got what he finally needs. He took him 460 laps. 450 laps to get to the front.
Now Dale Jarrett got by Rusty Wallace. He's moved into the 5th position. Closed down to a little over 4 seconds behind the leaders. We've got about 53 laps to go.
Now, Darrell, those fresh tires, how long will they be fresh enough to help you?
Well, I just don't see it. I mean, we saw Bobby Hamilton run forever on the same set and lead the race.
Right.
So I think they're going to help him get by some of these other cars, but I just don't see him chasing down Rudd.
There's 88, Dale Jarrett. Fastest car is closed down to 3 3/4 seconds.
Those are all your lead lap cars right there. 19 of them.
With Ricky in the front now, he can kind of pace himself. He doesn't have to run those 21 flat laps. All he needs to do now is put a little a gap between him and Jeff Burton, and he'll be fine.
And it's working, Darrell. Up to half a second and gaining.
He is in control of the race. He's just got to sit there and keep everybody at bay.
Rudd was 22nd in this race last year and 4th in the fall race at Martinsville.
Sterling Marlin in the 40 car. He's about a 1.5 seconds behind Rudd, the leader. The car's going to need about everything but a roof come tomorrow.
Yeah. Tore up everything but the roof number. Might tear that up when I get it in the garage.
Ricky Craven against the wall in turn 2. Starter has the caution in his hand and puts it out. 12th caution of the afternoon.
Now, let me say this. That helped the heck out of Dale Jarrett.
Yes, it did. Yes, it did.
Jarrett was 4.4 seconds off the lead.
Now, Rusty, he's going to try to get a position any way he can. He gets by Jimmy Spencer before they get back to the line. That was a battle for 6th.
I know what. I wouldn't want to make Jimmy Spencer mad. That wouldn't be a real good idea.
All right, you heard Robin Pemberton tell Rusty Wallace, if the leaders pit, we're going to pit, but we're going to do right sides only. I just don't believe those leaders will be on pit road. Maybe Jeff Burton, the 99, he comes to pit road.
Whoa, man.
Rusty Wallace is coming. Jimmy Spencer stays out at the last second.
Tony Stewart and Bill Elliott also come in. So does Bobby Labonte, Joe Nemechek, and Ron Hornaday.
You know what drove those guys to pit road? The 88 car. They know he's got better tires. They know they're in trouble if they don't do something. Ricky Rudd, on the other hand, he's in the lead. He can't come in.
Stacy Compton also comes down the pit lane.
Sometimes being the leader late in the race like this is where you want to be. But, boy, it puts a lot of pressure on you making the right call.
Steve?
Right side tires have just gone on for Jeff Burton. They're going to make a 4-tire change. Doesn't look like any other chassis adjustments. 4 tires for Jeff Burton, and he is on his way off pit road.
He will be the 3rd driver to leave pit road behind Rusty Wallace and Bill Elliott. And they will start from 11th on back. 8 drivers, once again, 8 drivers of the lead lap on this caution came to pit road.
What changes this track so dramatically as the day goes on is you see all this stuff down here, folks. That is just rubber buildup, and it makes it so difficult to hook up to. Your car will get into that stuff, it'll push. It'll get into that stuff, it'll get loose. And all it is just where the rubber sticks to the concrete, and as it sticks, it starts to build up.
Why in some places and not others, Darrell?
Well, that's where the right side tires run. That's right where the right side tires are, and that's where they put all the rubber down. Plus, you see those were white lines at one time.
Cars a lap or more down, now pitting. There's one of those formerly white lines.
And the reason these corners have concrete, being a flat racetrack, when they'd come here with pavement, the cars had so much grip with the tires, it would just peel the pavement up. They just couldn't keep pavement in these corners, Darrell, so they finally put concrete down.
Yeah, and it's that way on both corners. Most of the time, it's real bad in the middle of 1 and 2 and real bad off of turn 4. For some reason, that's where it always builds up the worst.
45 laps to go, so don't go away. And tonight on Fox, why are Bart and Homer in prison? Find out on The Simpsons. Dewey becomes a clean freak, and it's driving Lois buggy on Malcolm. Then David Duchovny is back on an all-new X-Files. And it all starts with a new Futurama and King of the Hill at 7, 6 Central tonight on Fox. The Monster.com blimp giving us pictures from high above the little short track speedway shaped like a paperclip.
I've seen him sideways a couple of times a day.
The blimp?
Yeah.
How's he handling?
He's loose. He needs 4 tires.
He got that. Thought he had that arrow push.
He got that arrow push. There you go.
All right, guys, 1 lap to go here.
Now
we got us about a 43-lap shootout.
Here's what's going to drive me crazy if I'm Ricky Rudd. I got the 10 car restarting right beside of him. Now we've already seen him be a little aggressive to get a lap back.
Coming to the green.
One thing I can assure you, Ricky Rudd, Sterling Marlin, and Jeff Gordon, first, second, third, their bed is made. They're out there, they see 500 laps, and Dale Jarrett in fourth has those 4 fresher tires.
Right now, if I'm Ricky Rudd, I'm going to put a real premium on trying to get a jump on that 10 car. I'm going to do all I can to beat him down to the first turn so he doesn't go in there beside me.
Getting set for the restart with 43 laps to go. Green flag, and Benson hit the throttle, spun the wheels, and will be no threat to Rudd.
Yeah, Benson forgot to clean them up.
Got to clean those tires up. They was hot. They picked up a lot of rubber, a lot of stuff on them. You can't get going.
Look at how much gap opened up there between Rudd and the 40 car, just in that one corner.
From the Texaco onboard camera.
But here comes Dale Jarrett. Here comes his buddy Dale Jarrett going by Jeff Gordon down into turn 1.
On the outside. Jeff Hammond, what do you think about those 4 tires on that 88 car?
I really believe right now, Larry, we're looking at the same situation as early in the race. For all you that wouldn't watch, Bobby Hamilton stayed out on used tires, had more than 70 laps on them. When they finally went the distance that they were going to go and they fell off, Bobby went from leading all the way back to about 12th. By the end of the race, by my calculations, Ricky Rudd's going to have almost 200 laps on those tires. I think it's going to come back to haunt him. The guys that got 4 tires, they're going to be all over before the end of the day.
Well, we got 40 laps. I don't know. It's going to be close.
Rudd's last win here was September 1998, 82 races ago. He has 3 wins and 43 starts at Martinsville, but he's not won since he joined Robert Yates 42 races ago.
They're running about the same speed. Rudd and Jarrett.
Look at Dale Jarrett, that 88 car. That's what that's called. That's 4 fresh tires. Just a little bit quicker than his teammate Ricky Rudd.
Something's going to have to happen to Ricky. I just think that car is too good for him to, for Jarrett to chase him down and pass him.
Jarrett's first car will be getting by Sterling Marlin, who's never won a short track Winston Cup race. Finished second here in '92.
Last time Bobby Hamilton, who led so much of this race, he had the fastest speed. He's in the 6th position. He's been trying to fight his way all the way back to the front since he lost so much ground when he had to pit earlier.
Hamilton up to 6th, and of the drivers that pitted on this caution, oh, contact. Gordon and Spencer made contact, and that opened the door for Hamilton.
They got Gordon on the high side. Jimmy Spencer, Matt Kenseth, Jerry Nadeau in the 25 car. He wants some too.
Spencer was loving that. He said, it's a chance to tear up both sides of my car at one time.
Well, he rode Gordon all the way down the backstretch. Won't be any of that in 2 weeks at Talladega when we go to the fastest speedway on earth and pick up Winston Cup coverage after an off weekend. We'll be there 2 weeks from today on Fox.
They won't be beating on each other, but they will be running 3 wide and even 5 wide.
Oh, but Larry, they'll have wheel marks. I guarantee you, first 5 or 6 laps of that race, they'll have wheel marks on half the cars.
Here's 2 teammates, Jerry Nadeau in the 25, Jeff Gordon in the 24. This is a battle for 7th.
I think what Ricky Rudd is trying to do is just keep a little gap between he and Sterling, and as long as Jarrett doesn't get by Sterling, he's not worried.
Meanwhile, Jeff Burton on those fresh tires is using his stuff up, trying to get back to the front. He's back in 11th place.
Yeah, he's just got so many cars.
Well, he's in 11th place. He's got a lot of cars, including lap cars, and he's over 6 seconds behind Ricky Rudd. And we're down to almost 30 laps to go, 32 laps to go.
Jarrett looking at Marlin for 2nd place.
Darrell, he decided Sterling is not going to give the bottom up. If he's going to pass Sterling, he's going to have to do it on the outside. And his car has worked most of the day on that outside.
That's where he's made a lot of passes, but I don't believe he's going to do that on that 40 car. 40 car and the 28 car both are really, really good around the bottom, right around the bottom next to the curb.
And give an attaboy to the folks on that whole Dodge program. And they said, oh, those motors won't be any good at Martinsville. They won't last. They won't be any good in the heat. They won't last. Marlin and Bill Elliott are proving those naysayers wrong today.
And another team you got to take your hat off to. That 28 car had a problem. They could have easily been out of the race. They got it fixed. They got him back out there 2 laps down. He's driven it up, leading the race with 30 laps to go.
Teamwork, teamwork, teamwork.
And now, track position, track position.
There's Fatback, Michael McSwain, Ricky Rudd's crew chief.
Not to be confused with Fat Boy, Larry Mack's coach driver, and Ricky Craven's spotter.
Fatback has already walked about 100 miles in that circle on top of that pit box.
He's such a neat guy. He's just fun to talk to. He asked me, he said, D-W, did you see my sunglasses?
How could you miss them? Dale Earnhardt Jr. battling Jeff Gordon.
Bounced it off the wall.
Here comes the 99, Jeff Burton. Remember, got those 4 fresh tires, but can he do it? Can he even get close in 29 laps?
Gets past Kevin LePage for 10th as Earnhardt Jr. moves up to 8th.
Gordon looks like he's just, the last 150 laps of this race, his car just has not been there for him. It's just not been as good as it was in the beginning.
Yeah, I just think the racetrack left their combination. It was good when the racetrack didn't have as much rubber in the corners.
We could see
Boy, Dale Earnhardt Jr. got sideways and jumped back to the gas.
That's a product of hitting those little rubber buildups, and the back end will come out from under you. It drives you crazy because you drive it in there and you don't expect anything to happen. All of a sudden, it jumps sideways with you.
Behind him, Burton comes after Jeff Gordon. No contest.
Well, the spotters tell him, say, 99's got fresh tires. You can't hold somebody up like that.
Nope. We may set a record today, a Martinsville record for number of cars on the lead lap. The record is 14. We have 19 on the lead lap with 25 to go, and Jarrett going for 2nd.
Here he goes underneath the Sterling Marlin here, and he's got him.
He worked him on the high side. He worked him. He worked him. He passed him on the low side.
Now Ricky Rudd has got to worry. But if I was Ricky Rudd, I'd be calling in and saying, tell him to let me win one. He's won 2.
They are teammates.
They are teammates.
88, but you talked about big picture racing, Darrell. There is Dale Jarrett in 2nd, and 1st pays 5 points more than 2nd.
After he made the pass, Dale Jarrett, well, it drops down to Bobby Hamilton, already moved up in the 4th position. But Jeff Burton, those 4 fresh tires, fastest car on that last lap.
And this may not come down to a driver decision. This may come down to a car owner decision or a crew decision.
You know who else who could play a role in this? All of those lap cars. It's just a few laps in front of Ricky Rudd from getting lapped.
Jarrett fractionally faster, and Jeff Burton with those brand new tires, the fastest on that lap.
I don't think that our leader has to worry about Burton.
No.
If he can just maintain the position around the racetrack like he's doing, the car's on the bottom, and here comes Bobby Hamilton, by the way, back into the picture.
You know, but Burton, Darrell, is going to get his best finish of the year. 18th was his best. Burton just moved up to 7th as we look over Bobby Hamilton.
Yeah, Bobby Hamilton all of a sudden closed up on back into Sterling Marlin here.
Boy, really drove down in deep in the turn 3 car, washed up a little bit. Sterling gets back to the throttle because of Bobby driving in so deep.
Well, Ricky is just about to come up on the back of Mike Skinner. If these guys, and Skinner pulls down, very courteous, right thing to do. Give the leader some room, let him go.
Well, here comes Hamilton, Darrell, and it's show me the money time. 20 laps to go. Let's see what he can pocket.
He's going to wish he had a little more money so he could play a little bit longer.
Let's get out of the leader's pit and Matt.
Well, Mike, I'll tell you what, I spoke to Michael Fatback McSwain last Saturday night in Texas. He said, I'm so tired of people asking, when are you going to win? He said, here in Martinsville, we brought out the big horse. We finished 4th here last year. I have never won a Winston Cup race. It's all I've dreamed about. We were so close so many times last year. So it's going to be a big win today if Ricky Rudd can hold on. But it'll be an even bigger dream come true win for Michael Fatback McSwain today.
When Ricky Rudd turned age 18, he didn't even know what the flags were in automobile racing, but he and his brother tested a car owned by Bill Champion. His brother spun, Ricky Rudd got the ride, and that's how come Ricky Rudd is a driver today. But how he got this ride is a testimony to the power of fans. When a couple of years ago, Robert Gates was trying to decide who should sit in the seat of number 28 at Bristol, Tennessee, he walked among the fans and they hollered at him, hire Ricky, hire Ricky. Robert figured the fans knew what they were doing. Today, they're proving that they were right.
Well, having been a former owner and driver, this is a breath of fresh air for that guy because he doesn't have all the burdens of running a team and paying the bills. All he's got to do is wheel that thing around this racetrack for 14 more laps.
Boy, talk about a guy that wished he'd have went one direction or the other, either stayed out on the racetrack or put 4 tires on instead of 2. Rusty Wallace elected to change 2 tires instead of 4 like Jeff Burton. 12 seconds behind the leader in 14th position.
You know why he did that? Because of his pit election. If he took 4, everybody beats him out. He had to take 2 to get out ahead of some of those guys.
21-25.
Rusty's crew chief Robin Pemberton and team look on as this race has just 15 laps to run. Ricky Rudd trying for his 4th Martinsville win.
Now he's going to be fine. He's got pretty clear sailing right here. He's going to come up on a car every now and then, but before too long, he's going to come up on a whole line of cars. This grip of cars here is not going to bother him too bad. He'll get those one at a time. But as soon as he gets up on the other pack of cars, that could be a problem for him. He doesn't need to catch these guys running side by side. They need to be aware of the leaders coming and get out of his way.
Darrell, I'm so impressed with 2 things about the 28 car. The fact of how good their car is versus their teammate Dale Jarrett with 50 more laps on their tires, but that says a lot for the tire that Goodyear has brought here.
Yeah, I've liked Ricky's car all day long. And anytime you can drive the thing into the corner the way he has and maintain control, he's going to have some company. Jarrett's going to get up there, but I don't think he'll rattle his cage. I think he'll just let him go.
This would be the first time that Rudd and Jarrett have finished 1-2 for Robert Gates.
It's a great feeling to have your car win a race. It's even a greater feeling to see both of your cars finished in 1st and 2nd.
It'll be 10 to go next time by.
Again, Ricky just gets a good launch off the corner. Gets in good. He's maybe a little slower than Jarrett through the center of the corner, but he really comes up off of there straight.
And Hamilton battles Marlin. 2 Tennessee drivers go at it for 3rd.
That ought to be no contest because 55 car, Bobby Hamilton's got fresh tires and Sterling doesn't. Sterling's been falling back a little bit.
Darrell, the leaders are going to come into a big pack of traffic before this is over.
Yeah, that's going to play into the equation here. It's which one of these cats, Ricky, or if he gets hung up behind somebody, If he happened to take the high line and Dale decided to take the low line and the low line opened up, then you got a problem. So he's got to sit there and start thinking about what am I going to do when I get to these guys. Hopefully they'll do just like Brett Bodine did. They'll get out of my way.
Guys, I've worked with Dale Jarrett. I've worked on teams where Dale Jarrett was a part of it. He would like to win this race, but I know him. He'd like to see Ricky Rudd win it. And we got to remember, he's the points leader, and his second place competitor, Jeff Gordon, he's 12th right now, so he's not going to mess up the big picture right here.
Well, they're both working really hard. And, of course, Ricky's got so many laps on his tires. Can he hold him off? That's the question.
Jarrett with a look to the high side. 7 to go.
Now's when you got to set on a hot stove and sweat ice water, boy. Don't let him see you sweat.
Lapped car, Kevin LePage.
He's there. He's looking to the inside.
Ooh.
He's going to make a run on him. Please.
Now, what did the lap car do?
Yeah, see, that's what I tell you. He went high, he went low, and opened the door. He had to pass him.
Car in the wall, Hornaday.
No caution, no caution. He's back going again. Right in front of the leaders right here at the start-finish line. 5 laps to go.
Cut down a right front tire, and cars are getting past Hornaday, who could not get into the garage area. And now Jarrett goes after Kevin LePage. LePage trying to hang on to the lead lap, but he'll surrender that here.
Boy, Ricky just cannot hang with those 4 tires. What a shame. What a great drive by Ricky Rudd. But my hat's off to Todd Parrott. He made the right call.
Right now, Dale Jarrett's got clean racetrack in front of him. 3 laps to go next time by.
That caution is what opened the door for Dale Jarrett. Let him make up all that time, and he lost putting those 4 tires on. Played out to be to his advantage.
Well, the caution, I think some of those cars, it was between him and the leader that went to the pits and just moved him up that further in the field.
Yeah, 8 more cars pitted on that next caution, and the die was cast.
2 laps to go this time by.
Yeah,
starting to stretch it out.
Stretch it out a little bit. Bobby Hamilton is still moving up. He's closing up on the back of the 99 car, so still got a shot at picking up another spot.
Rudd solidly in second, and it will be the first Jarrett Rudd 1-2 finish for car owner Robert Yates.
Clear track ahead for both of them. No traffic. Here comes Bobby Hamilton trying to chase down that 99 car on the last lap.
Okay, baby, bring it back to me now.
Todd Parrott talking to his driver, Dale Jarrett. About 1/8 of a mile to go here.
Traffic ahead won't be a factor, and Dale Jarrett gets his 3rd win of 2001 and his 2nd in a row.
That's a great win. To come here to Martinsville, be the points leader. 3rd win of the season, 2nd win in a row. Teammates run 1 and 2. I believe old Bob Yates has got this thing figured out.
Jeff Burton with his 4 fresh tires makes it back to 3rd place, DW. So 4 tires late in the race made a difference.
I wonder if Ricky's wishing they'd raced the truck. Jarrett the winner. Rudd 2nd, a 1-2 for Robert Yates. Jeff Burton, Bobby Hamilton, Sterling Marlin. Kenson
Tony
Stewart, Bobby Labonte. Good run for the Joe Gibbs team. 7th and 8th. Jimmy Spencer. 9th. Jerry Nadeau 10th. All of these are lead lap cars.
Yeah. Dale Jr. 11th. Good run for him. Rusty faded to 13th.
Good run for Stacy Compton.
Compton hung in there. He's had a couple of good weeks.
In fact, it's a record for Martinsville with 17 cars down through Andy Houston on the lead lap at the finish. That is a track record.
It was a great race. Lots of excitement. Beating and banging.
Ricky Craven led this race early, comes home 28th. Kevin Harvick had to stop for repairs, lengthy repairs, 34th.
And so did Kurt Busch.
Kyle Petty comes home 42nd after being wrapped up in a wreck.
And Todd Bodine, he didn't even get his water hot. So,
from above, a look at our MBNA winner circle as Dale Jarrett tries to maneuver in there. UPS number 88 for Robert Yates goes to victory lane for the second week in a row. Fifth straight Martinsville top 10 for Jarrett. It's his first win here in 30 starts. And he took the lead for the first time today with just 6 laps to go.
Now, as hot as that stuff right there looks like it would be, that actually cools the driver better. It lets that fan that blows air in there in the helmet stay inside the helmet. It keeps the hot air from coming up in there. So he looks pretty fresh for 500 laps here, but he's breathing hard.
See the Hans device, head and neck restraint that Dale Jarrett wears.
And I appreciate him wearing that device.
Anything, DJ, you good? They got oxygen if you want.
You don't realize how hot it is, Daryl, until it all stops.
Well, when as long as you sit down, you're fine. As soon as you get out of the car and stand up, whoa, your knees are pretty wobbly at that point.
Give him a minute. Okay.
Whoa, that feels good going down the old back.
Any more water?
Yeah, give me some more water. Oh, you don't want no more water?
Okay, he's good. He's coming out.
And now he wants out of the car.
Ooh. And a 1. And a 2. And here it comes.
Dale Jarrett, a winner at Martinsville. Steve Burns is with him.
Well, Dale Jarrett, the first time you have ever won on this racetrack, how did you do it?
Oh, great race car all day, and my man in the pits, and Todd Parrott, just can't beat that. He made a great call there.
4 Goodyear Eagles, come on.
Right. Tires were great, but I had a set that just didn't match up real well, and he said, let's get in here and adjust the car and adjust the tires, and that was the key. Yeah, I really hated to take it from Ricky. I know he wanted to win, but our car was just a little better right there because of the tires. So I know my daughter Natalie won her basketball tournaments this morning. I hope Carson did. Oh, man, this is an incredible start to the season right now. UPS, Coca-Cola, Planters, Texaco, Nike, everybody. I know I'm leaving people out. Ford Credit, got some more for Susan G. Komen Foundation. But thanks to everybody. This is a great team and great pickery.
Congratulations. Let's go to Dick Berggren.
Ricky Rudd drove a brilliant race today, but as he has climbed out of his race car, he has to sit here on pit wall, and you haven't smiled yet. Are you really that disappointed?
Well, we just had to play catch-up, all day. Just had a brake line bleeder valve come loose during the race early on. We had to make an unscheduled stop and got ourselves really deep in the hole. Had to run the car a lot harder than I wanted to. The brakes were fading there a little bit because I think I had to run the car so hard early on. But, congratulations to our teammate, Dale Jarrett. They did a great job. Our guys did an excellent job. We just got caught out of sync on the tire situation, and we were just a sitting duck at the end. And if I could change anything, I'm kind of thinking about the setup that DJ had under his car. They couldn't get going here last year, and Fatback, our crew chief, gave him the chassis setup and turned around and won the race with it today. So maybe if he didn't show him everything, we might have been sitting in victory lane. He'd have been second.
The good news is we come back in the fall, you get to try it again.
Yeah, it's fun today, just slipping and sliding, short tracks. It's a lot of fun. Track position was everything today, and trying to time it just right. And normally Goodyear just made a tire that was so good that we didn't have to come in and get tires as often. And the whole game was, and I said it before the race, is who gets the tires at the right time and how it shakes out is going to win the race.
You did a nice job today. Congratulations, Ricky.
Well, Jeff Burton last year led 202 laps, finished third today, 128 laps, and finished third again. But still, mixed emotions. It looks like the team's back on track.
Well, you can say a lot about this team, but you can't say that we're quitters. And nobody's given up. This team is as upbeat as I've ever seen them, even going into this race. And, for us, this now we can start our year. We may go to Talladega and finish 30th. I don't know, but now we can get our year going and pay attention to the things that we know how to do. We've run like this year. We just haven't put finishes together, and now hopefully we can get something going.
A big momentum-building run for Jeff Burton, Chris.
All right, so for the top 3 spots, let's look at points as Dale Jarrett wins his 3rd race in the last 4. Jeff Gordon falls further behind. In fact, Ford has won the last 4 races on the Winston Cup circuit. So much for teammates Jeff Hammond, Dale Jarrett making a mockery of things right now.
Well, right now we done found out he loves a new race car. They came up here. They had never won a race before. They built a new car. Seems like to me next week they'll probably have a new car for Talladega.
All right, he'll enjoy the spring break, the Easter break for the Winston Cup racers. The day began with Dale Jarrett starting 13th. It was not an unlucky 13th, and we went from New Houston to Knox. This track proved to be an oldie but a goodie. Temperatures got up to around 130 degrees down on the track. The hottest race of the year. A lot of bumping and bruising. It was kind of a boot camp for cars, bodies. But in the end, a couple of Virginians battling it out. Ricky Rudd passing Jeff Burton. Then his teammate, Dale Jarrett, with his 3rd win of the year. For all of us on Fox, thanks for watching from Martinsville, Virginia. We'll see you next time.